of us. Going to be an interesting afternoon here. Lots to discuss, lots to talk about, lots moving around right now outside of the overall market because the market itself kind of flat. It's been a choppy day to say the least. The S&P did go positive there just moments ago. Once again, back to 0.04. 0.3 here for the Dow to the downside, 0.37. NASDAQ still in positive territory as well. It was up about 0.5%. So we are coming off a little bit for the NASDAQ also. There's crude oil. Yeah, day highs right now for crude. 3% with about an hour to go in the pit session for energy markets. We'll see if we can't get maybe some oil stocks covered here going into the final half an hour or so. Bitcoin and Ethereum choppy as well. It's worth noting the Fed's George and also Bullard making some comments right now on the overall economy. Bullard basically saying they should just tear the Band-Aid off and get on with the interest rate increases, including a 75 basis point increase that he is in favor for coming up at the September meeting. So the market was kind of chopping around on those comments. Both are still making some comments, so we'll keep an eye on that, make sure nothing else terribly significant comes out. But let's talk about a few things we were discussing to kick things off, as we do typically in the afternoon. It's worth a mention as well. Danielle Shea going to join us this afternoon as per usual on a Thursday. We'll have a options chat with Miss Shea from Simpler Trading, get her take on some retail earnings from this week. We'll also talk about it's a big week next week for earnings as well. We get NVIDIA, we get some of the Chinese EV makers coming through. So we'll ask her about those and see if there's a trade to come. If you joined us this morning at 8:30, I mean, join us every day at 8:30. We get you set for the open. At 9:30, we discussed a whole bunch of opportunities this morning. More movement in retail, more movement in meme land as well. Bed Bath & Beyond to the downside. Neil is going to lead the way this afternoon and give us a look at one of his trades.
Welcome. Trade of the day is AMC today. It's not Psych, not Bed Bath & Beyond, although it's somewhat related to it. It's all about a key level. Early on, part of it was the fact that it was short sell restricted after being down 10% the previous day. But we have to get the party started by understanding that, AMC was following along with Bed Bath & Beyond, some of the strong upward moves. And after market yesterday, and you can kind of see on my 60-minute chart that I pulled up here, you can kind of see right at the end of the session, you had this little flush going right into the close, breaking $21 or right after the close. And that's when you had it announced that Ryan Cohen had filed to potentially sell his position in Bed Bath & Beyond. It brought some of the meme or squeeze stocks to that downside. So that's why I'm looking at that level right away. We're thinking about this 21 for support. We've been thinking about it pretty much all week long. And then just down here, you look at this little resistance level before that breakout, just around that 1950 to 1975 area. So that's the lay of the land. But when it's something short sell restricted, people can't hit that bid aggressively to sell their shares without an uptick. That can sometimes lead to strong upward moves. I came in thinking longs in front of that 21. I wanted to get that relief bounce. Early on in the morning, right after 7 a.m., there was actually a breakout in Bed Bath & Beyond through 20 even. I got into AMC, again, holds 21 even. We take the first break available to us at 20, scalps them out, it goes parabolic to 22. At this point, most of my entries were reflected on what was happening in Bed Bath & Beyond. If it would slow down, I'd take some more out. It was making a top, I'd get some more out. It was following BVBY pretty tightly at that time early on, not a lot of volume into it, but we come back closer to the open, volume's picking up, it retests and consolidates at about 21 and a quarter, and we're going long in front of 21 again. We understand that if it can't get past this level, lower high here at 2180, we're going to be in some trouble because you put in a lower high. Overall, the news was bad or negative for the meme stocks, and that was the expected trend. So into the open, we're a little more conservative, scalping those levels. Everything looked like it was about to be solid as we were putting in a higher low at the open, and the last reload we get was about 2040. And then the floodgates start to open up. We throw a tight stop in here at 30. And the reason I had a tight stop at 2130 on last reentry is after this little dump, hold at 21 even exactly, then we open up, reject the lower high. If we break this higher low, we're about to test that 21. Didn't feel any need to hold it all the way into 21. We'll just get out, and I'll take one last long in front of 21. As Lando Calrissian once said, that was the shortest offensive of all time, and it was very quick. You can barely even see me getting back into the long in front of 21 before we're out and we're reversing. The thing about a key level is you have to respect it and understand it's a decision point, but also a potential reversal point. And the reason it's a reverse today was the overall trend and news in the meme stocks, whatever you want to call them, was to the downside because of Bed Bath & Beyond. The 21 short was quite simply free money. Once that key level broke, you can see the acceleration to the downside. I was even surprised at how quickly it started falling apart there and simply had too many shares out from being bullish the last couple of days in AMC. Since that time, it has been only a short. Even on this recent pop, you're able to see 2050 holding as some resistance, and I'm actually short in front of 20 as we speak, and I'll take another shot in front of that 2050. Sometimes you can have a key level, you can have a support level, and you love the longs in front of it. But once it breaks, you can ask yourself, am I sitting this out? Or is there a sign for reversal? There was one today. Your trade of the day is AMC, the assist from Bed Bath & Beyond, and its momentum and clear direction. As always, trade of the day brought to you by Day Trade the World.
Nice move for AMC, a nice move for Bed Bath & Beyond, both to the downside today. Both were on that in the pre-market. Make sure you grab that every single day, and then come and join us at 8:30. We get you set, as I mentioned, for the open. Absolutely free. I didn't mention, is the watch list. So Fed's Bullard talked. We're going to get comments coming up here from Kashkari as well. Minneapolis Fed President Kashkari at 1:45. I believe that's supposed to start, or 1:50. Here's just a recap of a couple of interesting points here from Bullard. If we could, maybe, thank you. He was mentioning that 75 basis points he's in favor of, just basically saying they need to get on with it already, rip the Band-Aid off, and go for another full 75 basis points. As we saw yesterday, still about 50-50 split between half point and 75. Remember, 3.75 to 4 was the target that the Fed threw out there by the end of the year. So Bullard talking, Kashkari to come, guys. But market kind of choppy here to kick things off.
Yo, we're back early. How did that happen?
I don't know. It's just...
What was exactly up with that?
They just tell us when to... I don't know.
What do you guys want to do? Bull or bear here on the closing show? I'm going to go bearish.
I thought usually...
we could ask the 8 ball here. I mean, I have yet to take a long position today, so
I have had one at all times.
Yeah. So right now we're short Meta, we're short Palantir, we're short Softy, and we're short Bed Bath & Beyond. The same Bed Bath & Beyond trade that we've had the whole day. But the market's going to the upside, so we may get stopped out of this Meta trade. And just if you guys are watching it, it's right at the high of the day right now. So this is going to be the level that we're going to get out when and if we. Here it goes. Take down that 175.70 level, which a little bit higher than that, but that is the high of the day. So we're right here for Meta right now. So we've just been sort of averaging in. We take you can see my price is 40. So we took, the real trades and the real sizes up here. These were just kind of testing some of these levels before we started to go back up. But there it is right there, 175.77. So, okay, my stop order is still fine. And we're only out of the money 13 pennies right now. So we'll wait to see where this goes. But don't tell Henry if he's in the chat, but we are short Palantir right now off of that daybreak. We shorted it into the 22, I think was my price, 21. So 21 short, we got a 20 and a 22 fill, giving us 21s, and we just took a 12 bid there on Palantir as it keeps on coming back down in, respecting that 50 period. So we're short rate now, and hoping that this market will sort of barcode here in the afternoon and then give us, I don't care. If it gives us a direction, that's great. I want to get this direction right. But, the way it's been going the last little while, been playing tops and bottoms have worked out. So let's see if we have one here in Meta.
There's a bull market in Meagle or Megal or Magic, MEGL. I like Meagle because it sounds cool. But yeah, that just made a big power move here. I was about to talk about like the market sort of being inside the range and not really breaking out much, but just want to point this one out because we're always looking for in the afternoon session something that's going. So add Megal to the list here. I think 16 even sort of stands out obviously, well, 16 and a half, I suppose, 16 to 16 and a half is a target area. It's about 10% away from that, up 18 as we already speak. So watch out for Mega. I'll probably go ahead and pay for shorts. But when I say it's an inside sort of day, yeah, like there's our lows from yesterday. Same lows in here today. And then, you had those highs after the Fed minutes. No break or test of those on the NASDAQ. So we are trending slightly to the upside, but there's going to be plenty of valid resistance levels that are going to be in play when this happens to you on individual names. So those are going to be respected. I am long one big cap. This morning it was Apple. I was actually short NVIDIA this morning, but stopped out when it took out that high. It's like sometimes you just got to reverse an AMC, no reversal that we can hold on to in NVIDIA. But then it came back into VWAP, right? Like this 186 turned into support on the way up. You get a nice breakout there, then double bottom in front of VWAP at 186. And I'll be defending that price if we get it. But if it's going to be an inside day, well, sometimes we have trouble getting through that high of the day. So you might see me wanting to take profit here if we get back below that 188. Because breaking out highs has been a teensy-weensy problem in the afternoon lately. So thinking or assuming that it's going to happen, I think can get you into a bit of trouble. I am in a couple of shorts. One of them obviously, not obviously, but obviously is a firm. So it's just, the market is about to hit the high in the NASDAQ. So if you can find something that crapped on itself in the morning, put in lower highs and then a couple more and is still respecting those, and when it tried to break out, it just went right back to the low, yeah, I'm going to stick with that. So I'm short in front of VWAP, and if it breaks VWAP, I'm short in front of 36.5. So that'll be a firm for me. AMC is a bit of a different story. Obviously, we were talking about that one. It's now broken 20, so short in front of that. But yeah, I think there's going to be some action in individual names. Go with what's moving. Maybe we can break out that high today. It would be nice, but it's been a problem lately.
Oh, the high of the day. Ooh, I switched over to ES because we were helping out the guys on the midday show.
I'm looking at NASDAQ.
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, you're still a little bit away here, but actually not that far on the NASDAQ, a little further on the ES. But NASDAQ being helped out, obviously, again, by Apple today. Apple today, did it turn positive? No, so that's the point. It's starting to go right now. Hopefully that can turn positive for this market. I'd rather the market come tanking back down as I'm all short, but we've already talked about that. Apple up to 175. I mean, we had that run up there earlier where I got, that was a bad out, obviously. Nice little move to the upside. Apple is my number one stock to the negative side today. My number one stock to the positive side has been Softy, because why? And again, this is part of it. I just got to do a better job for myself when I'm doing this. And it's just like, you got to be patient and wait for these trades to come through. So right here, up to 291.60, we took that short into the high of the day. Once it already made this little wick, these wick highs here, it actually tried to make it again up there to 61. We had a little bit of a higher stop, and then the move came all the way to the downside. And look at that. That's 290.30. So, we did wind up taking about $1.20 on some of it, and we're just holding a small piece to see once again if we want to look at some of those highs. So, we're back. We're here. There's been some talk about Tesla. Neither of us, I don't believe today, has looked at that. But the Feds here looking for information about this autopilot.
Feds.
So, well, it's not the federales, but it's U.S. requests more information from Tesla regarding autopilot probes. So whenever you get a probe, it's never really a great sign, let alone one into a stock. 920 high. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they're necessary, so I mean, just saying. But there's 920, I guess. I don't know. No medical advice over here for sure. But anyways, Tesla 920 high, and then respecting that bottom, basically of 908 that we put in yesterday. I mean, it did dip down to 905, but watching out for that there into the close. So we'll see if anything comes of it. That story, and I mean, Brendan's obviously over there, but that story is old. It's 15 minutes old from what I can see. So I'm guessing that Tesla's kind of like hold my beer on that one, because look, when you have the goods, it's kind of like playing poker and you have those aces. You just hope that you don't get rivered. I mean, Tesla knows their autopilot program, I'm assuming, is legit. I mean, well, yeah. It's rolled out. If you're going to see a couple videos on, one or two videos that this is happening, I mean, there's literally thousands of cars being pumped out a day. I'm assuming that autopilot is on some of those. So I'm going to wait to hear more on that story. So I don't want to short Tesla just because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no movement anyways, as far as that quote. Anyways, we'll see what happens with Tesla here. But as Sean was saying, that's going back to last month where we saw that initial inquiry be launched. I saw a note on Lucid here. No movement on Lucid either, but apparently there's a Sapphire event tomorrow, the new model coming from Lucid tomorrow, so we'll see it for the first time apparently. Let's talk about a few things though that we were discussing in the pre-market this morning, including obviously Bed Bath & Beyond. I just noticed this thing's kind of gone to sleep this afternoon, not really doing a heck of a lot, just stuck in a bit of a choppy range if you missed it yesterday. RC Ventures filing to sell 9.4 million shares, which is their entire holding on the equity side through JP Morgan, guys. So downside it was for BBBY.
So
I'm gonna. The one thing I want to sort of get. I know you'll talk about some successful Bed Bath & Beyond trades, but I'm basically flat on the stock, essentially. And the problem with that is, if you really look at my Bed Bath & Beyond day, it's like longs early, win. Take the short at the open, lose. Take the short after it breaks down 18, win, and then take a short that mostly wins here again at 18 even, and then stops out. So effectively 3 for 4, but mostly flat. Why? Because at 9:30, when there's the most volatility, I'm not really keeping it tight to the vest. And I think that's, when we talk about it being wild at the open, we're not doing that to just try and like hype up how crazy it is at 9:30 and why everyone needs to pay attention to. But this is what it's all about. It went like a $2 move at the open and then a flush of $5. So you can get run over in that situation. It was great longs in the morning, but you had to be willing to hold it against you like $3, which I was not, and then just re-enter the trade. At the open, size down, be a little bit more patient to be able to get those moves. Obviously, the market just turned a little bit here.
Yeah, well, you might have heard me there, but I was just like getting excited because Meta went down. And the thing about Meta is, and I can't say this enough, Neil and I always say this, kind of like something that we've kind of coined here, and like you can't get filled unless you have an order out, it's just like not rocket science, but like when Meta just dropped in there, right, there is going to be like liquidity vacuums, and what's meant by that is like whenever there's some news that comes out, everybody pulls their bids, right, and so it's all of a sudden no one's like, oh my god, and then so when people mark it in or whatever, if you're sitting down here, like, why did this just happen? Like Meta was up here at 70, a little bit, like the futures tick down what, like a little bit? And the next thing you know, it's like bang, the whole thing collapses. And I was sitting there right at 23 and got the fill. Like, it's not going to look that great now because we're at 28, but it did retrace all the way back to 45, almost like boom, boom. So it's just like there's not a heck of a lot of liquidity out there right now if you're caught the wrong way, which is what sort of I've realized that in the last couple of days. If you guys know, it's like as the market just drifts up, there's really nobody standing in the way of some of these names, and I'm hoping it's the same thing on the way down. We do have Fed's George speaking right now, so the more and more he talks, the more that the market's going to be a little bit influenced here, but that's what we're doing. What's the rundown say? Oh, Best Buy. Or Best Buy. Hey, what's up? I'm trading the name. Bed Bath & Beyond, of course. Take away one of those B's and you got Best Buy. But yeah, so no, honestly, it's not an overly profitable stock. I mean, like what Neil was saying there before, we got excited for it early, shorted it, all the way up here, got blown out. So, we found that first short right at 9:30. I was able to take it for a little bit of a ride there off 19 down to literally 18.50. And then you heard me, I missed this 18.02 print by 1 penny. It went to 02. I was at 02, which was really frustrating. And then it just went up and I started averaging in back to 20. When it broke 20, we got out. But then we saw this high wick here and got back into the short. Now, it almost took us out again up to 21. So I was like pretty much counting our chickens there as they hatch. And then it came all the way back in where we started to get out, where we got filled. Then we got another 18.50. And then we have, again, you guys saw me take this trade on the morning show. If you're not watching at the morning show, you might be missing some things because that's an exciting time. But there it is right there, move down. We got out at 16.50, and I still do have that small piece. I'm still waiting for that afternoon rug pull, right? Rug pull. Yesterday afternoon, it happens at late though, like 330, 340. This name goes from 26 all the way back down. The day before that, it happens 230 all the way. This is where I think Ryan Cohen sold right here, and then the day before that, whatever. But here's another move to the downside at the end of that day as well before halting. Actually, that's in the middle of the day. Sorry, that's not the end of the day. That's a halt move. But there it is at the end of the day. There. So, anyways. It's a theory, and I don't know if it's a good one or not, probably not, but we're going to hold out just in case that does happen again. But this is barcoding, so to me, any pop-up, you should probably short. It doesn't seem like there's too much excitement in Bed Bath & Beyond anymore. You can see from here today, lots of action early as people were figuring out positions, and now it's kind of like ho-hum back down to the south side. I'm worried about people that are investing now in this name, hoping for a little bit of a bump up. Remember, you need that catalyst. And when you see a stock go that was $4 on August 5th, all the way up to $30 in, check that, 10 trading days, maybe less. You know, there is a broken mechanic here, right? So watch out for that. And you want to talk about broken mechanic, Neil? Oh, shoot. I was going to go right over to MindMed, but let's go to Brendan to drop that here, and then we'll talk about where that stock is.
Yeah, this drug, too. I mean, DRUG, another one, Canadian company, popping up as well, along with MNMD, failing right now, kind of miserably, at 110 here, guys. So we held the dollar and back to 110. But there's MindMed. We can also look at DRUG, that right out of the gate this morning showed a lot of volume and strength as well.
Yeah. I'll show them both, and like it's like a tale of two cities. Well, maybe not. But MindMed, I'm not really into trend lines, but I feel like it's not a bad idea to just throw this one. I don't know if you can really see. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Does it pick up there? I don't know. You got this nice little line. That's a nice downtrend, obviously. But in the morning, it was putting in higher lows. Looked like it was trending. It had a lot of juice to it there, to that upside. By the way, I think you're watching AMC just get back through 2010, so it holds above 20. I'm going to be out of that one, and then look for a re-entry only if it goes below. But MindMed here, I tried that long. It kept taking out 110. It was despite all morning saying I would wait for a test at $1. When it eventually tested $1, like I was saying before, it was the shortest offensive of all time. So after I'd already taken the hit twice long, I was long at 102. And then in the same candle out, and then working the short. The thing about the short is it only got to 90 cents the first time. So really, it wasn't that big of a move. I was kind of expecting you might see the 80s. It was at 75 at the close yesterday. So I thought you could see lower if it decided to fail. When it retested, I got a little back in, stopped at 05, but it hasn't really broken the trend just yet. So I'm still thinking to the short side unless we get like holding above 110, you've got to wipe out bottom at $1. But as long as we're below that, I think you're probably still trending into that downside on MindMed. And the other one is, it's literally the opposite thing. Like I had the long, I got it through $3, scalps them out, but just too tight of a stop on the last of it. So I missed out on the second move to that upside. Like it broke, it held the higher low, it made the second push, but much like MindMed, it's giving it up right now. The trend is to that downside. Probably going to need to at least creep back above 380 before it gets spicy or interesting again. Both of these look like shorts unless they cross 110, 115 on MindMed. But I think here about 380 before this is really going to get going. It also has a bit of a bid. If you like 260, that could be your last-ditch line in the sand. But I feel there's other things that are flying right now, including Megal.
That would be nice, JD, if Kashkari came out and started talking, as he's obviously very hawkish, or sorry, dovish when it comes, or hawkish.
He's talking.
Hawkish. I don't know. No, I just see George, but I don't know. So mentioning the Kashkari there, and of course, I mean hawkish going to the downside. So hopefully that can come through. We just tried to reload Meta there. Unfortunately, like I went back to a 1-minute chart, and like it's just my data here is not great. So maybe if I keep refreshing, but okay. Anyways, we tried to get short again at 70. We just missed it. It went to 67. Pulled back. It's been shallower dips right now, so we get that. I talked about that dip there. That came in the last dip. We were only able to get 50s or 48s, and then that last one we only went down there to 43. So I think about putting in a bid again in the mid 40s. Let's just do that. I mean, I want to still have something for the ride, like in case this does happen and we do crack a little bit lower here into the close today. But I am very, very pleased to announce that last week we did have simpler trading. I forget the gentleman's name, but this week we are back with Miss Danielle Danielle Shea. So that should be really nice. That's happening in about an hour, I believe, unless the time's changed. Someone asking, why are we on early? Why not? I mean,
well, the actual
first of all, the
reason-
reasons. Well, what is the actual reason?
Well, I think it was mostly because Tony was in filling in
yeah, I
and
was going to
doing.
say we had Spencer for the first time.
Yeah, and we had Spencer for the first time. Tony's wasn't feeling well, so couldn't make it in today. So we just decided to put in an extra half
Spencer
an hour.
did a great job, but he said to me afterwards, he's like, how in the heck do you guys trade and talk and do all this at once?
Make sure that this mic doesn't fall off.
I was like, that's how
These are heavier than you think.
By the way, new. How do I find it, though? I mean, I feel like I'm a UFC fighter here. There's Halim, my barber. I talked about that over and over again. How do I? Nah, that's not how you do it. Is there here, if I go to profile here? No, not profile. Yeah, profile would work. Here it is. New reel up right now, Stalking the Streets. So if you guys want to see this one, it's new. It's up. It's with Halim, the best barber in Toronto. I know Mark knows that. And Randy's barber. So here he is right here. What's up, Halim? Live on the show. So make sure that you guys go check that out. Go to my Instagram at TraderTVSean. You'll be able to find that. Over 5,300 followers. So it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. We'll get that number going up a little bit. But hopefully what's not going up, go check that out. And by the way, I want people to tweet at me because everyone really likes these Stalking the Street stuff. So we do want to put some more content out for you, but stuck on a little bit for ideas. So let me know if there is something there. Fahad had an idea, and it was guess the price of this stock. So I like that idea, and I know that there's like trends and everything about that, but that's kind of hard. Like, I mean,
That's really hard.
if people don't know,
That's very
like even
hard.
if someone's
Higher or
higher or
lower?
lower. Okay, so that's coming in
you
our
could
ear.
do.
That's okay, but I still think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like if I said to somebody higher or lower, Tesla 800.
But
Like our audience would be higher. But
the
I
average
mean,
person's not going to have any clue.
No, I mean,
I can already tell you.
I
Like
don't
you
even
ask,
think it's like that funny.
Yeah,
but
you ask my
we'll,
friends, they'll be like,
we'll
what the
figure it out there. But if Fahad likes it, then so do I. What is that on TV right now?
That's Kashkari.
Right. Talking with. Yeah, on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There. I didn't realize it was on our TV. Okay. So when Neil and I, like all we can see is sort of
better Neil. So by the way,
a little
first
bit
of
of
all,
the TV. I can't actually see the TV.
I think I do a bald. Look, when I go bald, this Neil looks better than that one. That's all I'm saying right there. He's a smart dude.
I mean, that guy's 70 years old.
It's true. He's not 70 years old.
No?
Neil Kashkari can't be 70. No.
He looks great for 70.
He looks great for 70.
I mean, was he 65?
You're not going to see me in a tie. At least not around
Well,
here.
we're not allowed to.
That's actually true. That's actually true. We're not allowed to wear ties in the office. There was once a trader. This is years and years ago.
You know how he spells his name? I just noticed this.
It's wrong. Yeah.
N-E-E-L.
I mean,
Sick.
N-E-E-L?
That is sick.
Really? Were you trying to kneel before Zod?
Yeah, he's only 50. He's only 50. Yeah, he's from Akron, Ohio.
Akron, LeBron.
Shout
Hello.
out, LeBron.
He's from
yeah, it says right here. Yeah,
Okay,
Akron,
there you
Ohio,
go,
right
man.
there. Anyways, what I was going to get at there,
What were we talking
LeBron
about?
James, $500 million in guaranteed money so far from the NBA. He just signed another 2-year deal with an option for a third. 97.5 million or something
Is that
over
it?
2 years. Like, Trader TV approached me with that. I wanted the player option. You know,
Yeah, you got to
again.
work on the turnaround, bro. You get the step
Right.
step back.
So I turned it down for now.
That kid just peeled off in a Lamborghini Urus.
Which kid?
The kid on the floor.
Oh, the kid that always buys us coffee?
Yeah, that kid just peeled off in a Urus.
He was driving it?
I mean, somebody picked him up in a Urus.
Oh, picked him up in it.
Oh.
So, shout out, his name is Shane.
It's Shane,
I
though.
believe. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think we're allowed to say that, right? He keeps buying
I'm about to
coffees
put on
and
like
everything
100.
for us.
I'm about to put on some
What's up,
weight.
Greg?
Every single day, Shane buys a box of donuts, and it's like and coffee as well.
Yeah.
And like 3 days in a row, I haven't been able to turn it down. So
And
for
then-
3 straight days, it's like I'm just one donut a day. I'm having to do some like extra, calisthenics at home just to make up for it.
Because of
I
one
can't-
donut, eh?
Look, man, I try to keep
yeah,
it real.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
I'm just- that's great.
I can't do that every single day. Every now and then it's
You can't
fine.
eat, yeah, you
But I
can't
just
eat.
got
A
trail-
donut a day is a problem.
It's a
I feel
lot.
like.
I don't want to do that.
We're old.
I'm on the
mean,
north side of that number where I have to get a probe every.
I mean,
You brought up the
back
probe,
to
man.
Baxter. My kid Baxter, 20 years old. I mean, he goes to me. He's like, I can't even put on weight. Like the guy came home. So we threw down some burgers, of course, yesterday. After once again another successful T-ball game. Anyways, so we made down some burgers. He came home like honestly 10 o'clock, 10:30, and just like, wow. mowed down 2 full burgers, and it's like he went to the back, he picked out some tomatoes, he got the lettuce, he threw it down on there, and yeah, so like imagine eating like a burger or 2 burgers like right before bed.
The funny thing is, like,
20 years old. I mean,
the point at which the metabolism
I was 20 years
shifts.
old 5 years ago.
Yeah, let's be real. Like when the metabolism shifts, you all know
Tim
what's
Hortons
up.
as well. I mean, Pratt never wants to. So they must be again.
What is that, by? What do you?
This is nice coffee.
What drink is that? Oh, that's what it.
It's just straight. It's just coffee.
Dude,
It's coffee
I'm
with
being
milk.
sarcastic.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because
Who
Pratt
said
had
that
no
last time?
Pratt had
Oh, it was
no
Pratt.
clue what that was.
That's right.
I'm like, it has Tim Hortons on the cup. It's got ice in it, and it's
But
brown. What do you think it is?
They send me.
What do you
They
think
send
it
me
is?
like a thing, like because I have the app. So I guess because I've been ordering there, and they're like, oh, $2, any size. So I was like, I'll get the big one, but it's too much. It's a large.
By the way,
It's a
two
large.
things. I did get trailed out of NVIDIA that long, but look, I had to take profit at some point, realistically. And I do feel like, you know, that high probably not going to get broken. I'll be back on the bid in front of 186, but you guys probably a little bit more interested in the fact that MindMed is going again. And the first time all day that I typed MNMD instead of MMND. So here you go, Neil. It's a little victory sometimes. 112. I'm on the bid at 112. I'm kind of thinking now that it's broken the trend a little bit, if it can consolidate VWAP, it's got some room to run. The volume's only okay, but it is only 2 o'clock now, so we're still pretty early on. I'd like to see it hold above this 10 level. I'm going to start in on this. I've been trying to wait for it to break that trend. You can kind of maybe see this a little bit better. You know, it's broken the trend, gotten above. I think it needs to clear 115 to 20 to really accelerate, and you want the volume to pick up, but I'm going to start working a MindMed here. Above $1 should be okay, but I'm probably only going to give this long till about 108, 109. I want to have a bit of an area stop there. We've been ignoring Bed Bath. I know we're supposed to go more in the rundown. We've been ignoring Bed Bath & Beyond because it's falling asleep. However, it is slowly starting to roll over a bit. And given what happened this morning,
Don't wake the giant.
no, given what happened this morning, you could see like when it starts to go down, at least when it did this morning, it really fell off a cliff. So I'm watching out for 1750 here. I think that could maybe accelerate things to the downside. I'll probably try to hop back into AMC, which I got wicked out of, and now that's coming back down low, Brennan.
Kashkari not so dovish today, apparently. I'm not sure if the Fed can reduce inflation without causing a recession. So that was one comment. We must reduce inflation immediately. Yeah, no kidding. Let's talk oil. Nah. We can talk Tesla if you want. What do you guys want to talk about?
Oh no, we can talk. Well, I didn't even realize Brendan could really hear me. I'm just like,
Oil?
nah.
Somebody
But,
cooking?
look, I said that about Kashkari. I mean, I know the guy's hawkish, so he just sent the market reeling there. I mean,
Akron,
that's what we're doing, right? I mean, as soon as I saw that dude sitting there, I should have been like, yo, more shorts, please. But we just cashed out of some of our trade there on Meta. We only have half this position left. It's now we are now positive on the day here for Meta. I'm gonna take another bid out there. There it is. We'll take another bid as it hits the bid one more time. But no, Brendan. I mean, what is the oil thing? We're up 3% here on oil. Yesterday we did have the supply number come out on inventories. Was there anything else that you saw across the news board there?
That they're all. I mean, XOM, Oxy, all of them up about 2.5 to 3 as well. So big day for that entire group today. In fact, without them, the market would be down a lot more.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, if you look at what Oxy's doing, this one gets pretty interesting in maybe in the next couple of days because it has had a wall at $66 for the better part of the last like couple of months. So when this gets above, well, I should never say when. Like if we get above 66, there's going to be a breakout potential for Oxy, and then you got to consider how well it's held off with the price of oil sort of coming back in here. Yeah, it's been holding up pretty well by being a little bit of a sideways trade, now back above the 50. This is going to be an interesting break when it gets there, and I intend to be a part of it. I like trading Oxy on strong moves, but until it breaks out, I want to be sitting it out as a day trader.
Whoever called the short, appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, whatever. I don't know if the short's going to hit or not. But yeah, look, we know the Fed's been focused on inflation. So when he comes and says that one of their number one things is getting inflation under control, I mean, I think that that's what they're looking at. That's what the Fed is supposed to look at. They're not supposed to even look. I mean, we know that happens. The stock market is obviously the barometer most of the time, for if the Fed is working or not. That's not what it's supposed to be. Obviously, they're supposed to be independent of the markets, of the government, and everything like that. Like Kashkari, his party's Republican, as I just read it on Wikipedia. So that's, all that kind of stuff is not supposed to matter, and I don't believe it does. I mean, but, they always look at, I still remember when President Trump was in and Powell was talking, and then all of a sudden they had like a dinner out of the blue, and then Powell came out like the next day and kind of like completely changed course on what he was thinking. So I wonder what that was all about. Bed Bath & Beyond, Neil was just talking about it, woken up the giant a little bit here. It is starting to go to the downside off breaking 18. I think that was just a shelf break. Again, we've bounced off 18 a couple times, including at 1 o'clock and then again at 1:30, and then I guess tried to break it again, and this time was successful, but not overly successful. It did bounce back to 17.90, but now starting to go back to the downside. So, I mean, we're in this name, $2, almost $3 now in the money off this short still. But it's only 20% of this position because there's 20, 40, 60, 80. So we're out. That's 20, 40, 60, 80% of the position. I mean, we're really... I don't consider this lucky because when it came down here, we were watching it. The reason why we got out is that it came down here one time and we were sitting at 16 the first time when it came down and it stopped at 40. So I just put the bid back to 40 there, let it settle down. About 20 minutes later, came crashing back in and it printed the lowest low today of 16.16, it looks like. And if you are with us on Day Trade the World, you know, we do have the high and the low up here as well as the volume, 112, almost 113 million shares. Right?
So I have to get something ready because I'm gonna, before we go to Tesla, because that's the next thing we're supposed to apparently talk about. I'm sure Fahad will be letting us hear in a second. But Mohammed with the super chat, I closed my swing on STEM at 16 from 8. Any thoughts?
I closed it.
So, I mean, you swung STEM from $8
right.
to 16, doubled it up. You're winning.
Yeah, our
so
thoughts are
that's
congratulations.
my thought is congratulations. What else am I supposed to say? Like quite literally, like look at the chart. This is my 50. This is a 50 period up here, down here, I should say. Look at this. Lower highs off double bottom off 6, breaks and holds a 50 period, bouncing off $8. Quite literally the perfect entry point, and then out for exactly a double up. And it's right in front of what would be theoretically like the resistance you'd expect to see, like here's your 17 previous support into resistance, and then it goes right here, reverses back, and you take it out in the middle. Okay, so you made the perfect swing trade. Congratulations. Love it. Absolutely fantastic. All I can do is hit that key for you, man. That's you. Put your face instead of my ugly mug. And it really is a good setup. That's exactly what you want to look for. It was trending back to the upside. It exploded, and you paid yourself. And everyone should always try to pay themselves. When you're trading, no one ever went broke taking profits, but no one ever made a dime until they took them either. I wanted to go back over to MindMed for a quick second. I know we're supposed to go back over to you, Brendan. But MindMed, I did add when it broke 115 as well. And I'm just going to sit on the offer in front of 20s, up to 25s, and up to 30s. And then maybe it actually does take out that high of the day eventually. But it's starting to pick up. The volume's only okay for now. Still need a little bit more on that volume side. It doesn't hurt if the market were to come up. However, likely in that group that it might not matter if the market tends to come back down here.
Well, I mean, I know we're supposed to go back to Brendan, but we literally didn't talk you didn't say one thing about oil there.
I mentioned a thing about Oxy. I talked Oxy. No, I did. I said Oxy a little bit.
Okay, just a little bit. I just want to bring up a chart of oil right now. I've been long on this ZEO and XLE kind of nat gas oil ETF for a while, and I am still bullish on this here. So you know what? I feel like you're heading into winter, baby, and if you made that move down here, you get a little bit of a run up, obviously, into the summer here. Peaked out on peak summer, basically, mid-June there. I guess peak summer, I guess, would be mid-July when we were at 112. I don't know if we retest this 120 or not, but for me, oil, and you just look back here, this is 85. So we already topped out at 85 back in November before dipping in. Then the rip happened, crazy. And you still have this Ukraine-Russia situation. The oil sanctions coming on Russia, I believe, and it started in October, I think, that Russia's putting their own restrictions on the rest of Europe. So they're going to be cutting off the supply of nat gas. I believe sanctions is the word I'm looking for. So, you know, when those come back on, and if the Saudis don't start pumping and OPEC starts going, then, I mean, Russia's going to hold the cards. The strategic barrels in the United States are running out, apparently.
Useless.
So, and they're pulling
Even when they tap them, it doesn't matter.
Right, exactly. So I think that oil is going to go for a little bit of a run. Like, I mean, 98 is the 200 is the 50 period. I actually don't have. I thought the 200 period must be this one, this little red line, which is 94. So we've now closed underneath the We've now closed underneath the 200 period for what appears to be like 20 days or so. So generally speaking, that is going to be bearish. But I still think that we take that out, and it's coincidental that we're right at 95 on this. Boom it to the upside, and I think we get back into the mid-hundreds here. Well, mid-100, like 105, 108, like between 100 and 120 here, somewhere in here. I think we can get back to that midpoint on oil. So I remain pretty bullish on that as now the market starts to pop up a little bit.
All right, Tesla ended up being a bit of a boring trade today, but I just saw an interesting number on this report that was out this morning talking about their Shanghai factory. So remember going back a month or so ago, they were talking about some upgrades that they were going to do to the Shanghai factory to increase production. Those are complete. Now they can produce that. 22,000 Model 3 and Model Y cars each week coming out of Shanghai. 22,000 a week coming out of Shanghai, guys. So as I said, Tesla's up on the day, but not terribly exciting.
Why am I, what's like 21,860 more per week than Lucid can do? Or is it actually, maybe I'm a bit wrong on that.
Per quarter, maybe. I mean, Lucid, like...
Oh, no, Lucid's 560 in the last quarter.
Yeah, there were
so it's
more
actually,
kids he had.
so it's worse than that for Lucid. Wow. And look, I didn't mean to.
We talked about that earlier.
I didn't mean to crap on Lucid, but that was the comparison.
On every other,
it's all
you
of
could say
them.
It for Ford, for GM, for any of them, and they're all behind the curve. And we talked about that with Tesla on the morning show, and it was just like, I've been selling this name because of valuation and things like that, and just where it's going. Valuations never meant anything for Tesla, and it's the only game in town. So I mean, if you want to buy an electric vehicle right now, I think it was 4 weeks on the 3 or something. Brendan mentioned earlier, and now you get these production numbers coming through. I mean, what else are we supposed to do other than, you know, kind of love Tesla? I mean, if you're going to be in the EV space and you like what they're doing, this is a name that's going to continue to work for you. Now, obviously, we have that bad wick there, but here it is off earnings. I mean, they come out with earnings right here. We'll talk to Danielle Shea about this because I know that she's pretty bullish on Tesla, or she was. We'll see if that's changed. Anyways, big time movements, big time beats. Their quarter wasn't even great. They had compressing margins as well. But again, like whenever your margins are above zero, they're beating everybody else. None of these other electric car companies are making money. Will they eventually? Of course they will. And at that point, you will probably want to trim back some of your Tesla. But at the same time, you want an electric vehicle right now, unless you know somebody or I don't know, how are you going to get one? Even the secondary market for Teslas are almost non-existent. So yeah, I think if you're going to be in an EV name, regardless of what we said, the PE was 109. Their PE and their forward PE is 53 based on guidance. So we'll see where it goes. But I think you're foolish right now to think that you know, they're not executing at great levels.
And for a trade, we said this in the morning, and it's still pretty true. Tesla is the definition of diddling in the middle of the range right now. So it's not really didn't test 900 this morning. It didn't test anywhere close to like that 925. And you've been barcoding. So unless the thing about a $900 stock is you want to scalp it for 5 to 10, go ahead. But that's not been the name of the game for us here. I did and I have to use my 15-minute for a firm. If I showed you my 3, I can show you my 3-minute over here and sort of zoom in for you guys. But a firm, every single time it dips down to 35.50, I'm getting out. And then every time it comes back up into 36, I'm getting more short. So my executions don't show up on this chart that I use for myself. But just playing inside of the range. Market gets back toward the high. I reload. It comes back down, and we just scalp the 30, 40 cents in that 50-cent range until it breaks. If it breaks down, I'm going to hold a short position on a firm. But as long as we're inside of the range, we're going to go rinse and repeat on this stock for myself. I don't think there's any other way to play it right now. On that last move down, I've kind of expected maybe we'd get some chance to get back into NVIDIA, not really doing much. Like I might not get 186. I might have to step up. And just sort of get in front of that a little more, like 186.5 to get back in on the trend. So if we do continue to move down, I do want to be long NVIDIA on the dips here because it's very strong, up 2% when the market is essentially flat. But the chips have been strong. That's one of the names I do like for the long this afternoon.
Just getting my stop orders in here because we did make a nice little reload there on Meta, so we'll go ball in a little bit. It's not really, but it's making a little bit of money there, so we will do our money, because we're just scalping it out and it is coming in a little bit here. So good trade there. We just shorted at 60s. We're going to try to get 60s again. That high is 63, and then that very high right there is 75. So it's not a lot. I'm hoping it can come down. And I just kind of hit that for fun. It's not a lot of money coming in at all. Palantir, shout out to Henry. That one's coming on the way backside now. So we did short Palantir off that break. We talked about it breaking the low there of the day, and it was weak today, obviously down that 3% as Palantir has really suffered a little bit on their daily chart. Obviously, we have some bad wicks here and bad fill-ins, but that 1150, you know, hasn't really seen a better day since that, as now it's come back in. And I really think Palantir can retest, unfortunately, Henry, this $8 mark, 750 again. I mean, that's really low. I like it. I mean, Snowflake's been good. Maybe Snowflake's the better name. I do own both of those. Bed Bath & Beyond is starting to come back down. But I did just hear a call for Brendan. And then don't make me forget, I've changed my charts back to 1 minute, and I'll explain why. What's up, Brendan?
All right, Kashkar, this is a little more dovish. Talking about the yield curve, guys, he says the real yield curve has not yet inverted. And also said the reversal in the 3 and 10. So I remember yesterday we were talking with Tony Knack, who is the head analyst at Financial Juice, about this. 3-month is here. This is the 10-year, so these two not yet inverted, but the 3-year, which is here, is still very inverted. So he's talking about the yield curve becoming very, very complicated. So at least as he was agreeing with our friend Tony Knack from Financial Juice from yesterday.
Yeah, I think the thing about that is, like, yeah, the Fed favors one, and so prognosticators who like to predict we're going to have the next recession or whatnot tend to favor that 210. At the end of the day, like, it's sort of like, what time frame do you decide to use to figure out your support and resistance? Like, you may favor a 60 or a 15. A lot of times you're going to arrive at similar answers there. So we'll see. There was a good point that just got made on MindMeds. Was in the chat there, and I sort of responded in there saying, yeah, we're on support on MindMed, and it's decision time. And it's been right here. Like, if you, the last little high that got made before it broke out was 112 where the players dwell. And then once it broke VWAP and got 15, 16s, it then bounced off 12 now twice. So I was resting above 120, and then I put one at 119 offer. Now I'm going to get above like 123. As the trend feels like it's going to be to the upside, but I keep forgetting about some of the other runners there. And I don't mean to ignore Megal, but just when I'm like, yo, Megal has a chance to go, this looks pretty strong, Megal breaks down. So yeah, this one might be, I'm not saying it's done for the day, but need to hold right around that 1350 to 14 area and then get back going to the upside. And then it puts a death candle in just a couple of minutes ago. So pretty unfortunate. This looked like it was strong, had a chance for a breakout, and of course, it's got room. I mean, goes without saying it has the room to run on the daily chart. But even if it would have just gotten through this 1650, it's a pretty good sizable gap if it could have taken out these highs. Doesn't seem like it's going to do it today.
Yeah, so we are back into Meta, obviously, as it takes down that 60 level, which we were sitting at. Now you're looking at this high of 75. So that gets taken out, man. We are out of this name. It's a good thing we did take some profits there. We got the reload, which is fine. And we will lose on it, which is not fine if it does go back upside here. But we're going to have to give it a little bit more room. As we just said all this kind of stuff, right? We just had Kashkari come out there talking about the yield curve. Obviously, Brendan explained that a little bit. So we'll have to wait to see. But this is getting upside here. We talked about this 13,500. We just dipped below it again and came right back, and we didn't even dip below it that much. That's where you get this wick down move, and then it brought it right back up. So they broke it. Someone pressured that break to the downside, and then it was just bought right back up. You can see down here, there is a decent sell candle when that happened. And then, boom to the upside. That's sort of when we got, I guess no, that's not when we got that meta trade. That was back in here. So right now, the future is trying to go back up. This is the NASDAQ 100. So yeah, you're going to take out some levels, then it wouldn't be surprising, obviously, if Meta does crack higher through their day's high. As the NASDAQ, again, another day, man, where we are green in this market. Like, we started the day off pretty blah, and then it's just been drifting higher. So there goes Meta. We're now back into the money. Well, we were just into the money when that went to 55, but just dancing around here on this number. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it can come back in a little bit. I'm bidding 50s, so maybe if it comes down in, I mean, 50s is not, we shouldn't be bidding 50s, we have to bid lower than that. Where's this wick? That's 46, 47, so maybe into there is something to look at. Look, we're short now at 60. Our out's gonna be 80, so that's 20 cents. So yeah, we'd like to get this into the mid 40s to go for 1-to-1 on risk to reward, and then we'll work it from there. But welcome to all the new viewers that are watching right here. If you can hit the like button. I mean, do you want us to come on a half hour early? If so, let's hit that like button, and we'll be back for you. I don't know if it's gonna be a daily thing.
What?
What was that?
What was that, Fahad?
What did Fahad do there?
I don't know.
Okay.
He threw the camera on me for a second there.
Oh, you were making a face. Fahad really likes you, man.
I know.
That's the thing.
Thanks, Fahad.
That's so sweet, Fahad. It means a lot to us. I just hope that Fahad doesn't get hurt. I mean, the guy has this bike out there, and he's like
His
rolling around
e-bike
the
is
streets of
pretty- yeah.
Toronto. So if you see a guy wearing a Tony mask rolling around on the streets of Toronto, you know that's either Tony or Fahad.
Don't wear that mask on the bike, bro. That is unsafe, and we don't need that to happen. I love Fahad. It's just Fahad has this way of like, if I'm making a weird face or if I'm eating food, it's like, oh, let's throw Neil on camera right now because I know that Sean is talking and I can kind of just be reacting to whatever, and then he'll put me on camera because it's jokes, and you guys probably enjoy it, so it's okay. I don't mind.
It's like
it at
those
all.
Chuck Norris jokes where it's like, what does Chuck Norris? I can't even think of any right now. But there was
when Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups.
Did the push-ups do him kind of thing?
I don't know. It's like something about the Earth going. Yeah, the Earth goes down or
something
whatever.
like that. Yeah, it's like when the market
There's a
tanks,
website
people
for
say
that
Tony
stuff.
hit the sell key. But I want to say that, like, it's like Fahad. It's like Fahad steps into a batting cage or a pitching mound and automatically is throwing 90. Stuff like that. Like that's what I'm feeling like with my man.
He did actually try to. There was a story.
Is there a story about that? Am I just making this up?
Fahad was talking about how hard he could throw, and he was like,
okay. Did he ever?
I forget what number he threw out there, but I just started laughing at it.
It was greater than 80.
He's like, I was pitching with my friends, and I was like, I was throwing so hard. I'm like, you're probably throwing 65 miles an hour at best.
At best.
At best. I see someone spamming the chat for snap.
Fahad right now is bench pressing Lucas though in the background.
But he could, Fahad, he could leg press 800 apparently because the
guy went to the gym a day later. He had like a pulled Achilles or something.
He was
because
walking
he was
around,
literally lifting. He goes
like
to Sharif back here. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, that's no problem. And he threw down the plates. But welcome to the show. We will talk about stocks at some point.
We will talk about stocks because
we're making some money.
Once again, AMC has broken support. There it is. AMC breaks the support at 70s. It's headed back. By the way, it's headed to the low of the day. So this was an aggressive.
Fahad, it would be good to go to a chart right now.
Oh yeah. Let me start again. AMC has broken support.
Oh, man.
I got some at 1960. I can't even now. But this is a big level. When it came down here in the morning, it was flush city. It made a hard reversal off about 1950, and then a big wick bottom. So I do expect there to be some buyers in this range on AMC. We've broken the 200 period. When you pop the 15-minute up, like you don't have a heck of a lot when you get down here, but there is this little area around 19 even. It's hard to see, but when we started going parabolic off 17, there was a nice tight consolidation with a 1980 top and a 1920 bottom. Right in the middle of those two numbers, obviously, is going to be that 1950 area. So that's why I think 50 has found support. If it manages to break it now, I want to be on the short side. It's headed downside now, so the short's starting to come into that one. I didn't get any more reloads on a firm because I suck. I guess it didn't come high enough there on a firm. Firm's one of these charts. Yeah, my 3-minute chart hates me on a firm. Didn't get any reloads there. I feel like if the market comes down, I want that NVIDIA. But if you're watching Bed Bath & Beyond, it didn't really roll over. So without this doing anything, AMC started to give it up. If this rolls over, AMC is going to 19 right quick. I think we understand that. But that little floor on Bed Bath & Beyond, waking the giant there, not breaking down at all on Bed Bath & Beyond, but AMC continues to fall.
Yeah, AMC's a nice little fall move there. We had Kashkari just talking there a little bit. We are short into Meta again off this level. The same. Look, we're long down. I mean, Meta's been kind of a dream when you're looking at this chart right here. Long here, all the way back up to the upside. Then we flipped over right now into some shorts. You know, these ones don't look too good, but we average in against the high of the day. And we have been lucky to not get out on this high, 175.80, but we just keep on shorting it, keeps on coming back in. This is the 50 period moving average on a 1 minute chart now. So that's come back in, and yeah, so we'll continue to take some outs. Our last out is right there at 37. We're now short Meta. I mean, it's 175.60. It's not like it's a huge win, and I'm expecting it to go down. We still have 75% of the position. I mean, even though we've gotten some out here, or no, more than that, sorry, 80%, 10% out, 10% out, and we're still gonna try to fall back in. But for me, I have like a little bit larger, yeah, again, my chart's not working right there for some reason, but we'll go to the 20 minute on Meta. So here's Meta right now. You know, this little level right there is 174 flat. Will we get there today? I'm not sure. I mean, the NASDAQ right here is still green. If we turn red and Meta starts to head to the downside, I mean, some of these levels could get breached again. And it's up today, right? So as the market can fall in, we know Meta can get really spicy with some liquidity vacuum. So let's wait to see where Meta wants to go. But right now we are short this name as it bounces back up. I think it's due for another average. We'll just keep on averaging in, but next time let's get out a little bit more if it comes back down to this 50 period.
Oh, I might have found something I also like to the long side of the trade. I got wicked out, and it would have been, I would have got out of this anyways, but I got wicked out here on Apple on a long, and then this candle kind of took it down to like 173.50, so I would have been wicked out of it. But I didn't get back in when we recrossed 174. I went over to NVIDIA. It's the same. It's exactly when I went long in NVIDIA is when I should have gone long in Apple. But it's coming right back into that 174 price. It kind of favored the long in Apple, and we're going to try to take it. I'm going to try to take it in front of 174 here if it does come any further. That way I know if we break down at VWAP, I have a reasonable out. I doubt that, like, we're so strong in NVIDIA that there's a decent chance, yeah, I mean, I could be in and out of Apple and not even get a position in NVIDIA in front of 186 yet. So I'll take that shot there. MindMed kind of falling asleep now. I hope it's not going to turn into one of those things where it looks like it's about to go, and then it spends the rest of the afternoon in between 112 and 122, and it just goes sideways for the rest of the day. Like that would kind of suck. But we've seen it happen before. If it's still here at 3 o'clock, I might just decide that I want to exit it or at least stop looking at it to be sure. The chips starting to come down. I just showed you. I showed you NVIDIA, AMD as well. If that's one that you're more interested in. Load. It's holding up at the highs. They're all very strong today, relatively speaking. They start to come down. Well, it's been energy. In terms of tech for the NASDAQ, it's been the chip names that are holding it up. So once that starts happening, those Qs are going to start to roll over a little bit more aggressively, guys. So watch out for those. I just want to be adding to my Affirm position and look for a few shorts to be able to put on. I can't bring up this 3 minute on Affirm, unfortunately. I am on the offer for any pop there. Brendan, ooh, I like this segment. Let's see what the volume leaders are right now.
Yeah, we'll give you more time, so we'll give you a little more information as well. Why not? 10,863 listings on this board, and what it's going to show you is performance up or down. It's also going to show you what is leading as far as performance individually and what is leading as far as volume traded. 5,129 of 10,863 in positive territory. About 4,700 right now in the red. 1,000 and changed, basically unchanged on the day. 960 new lows, 105 new highs currently. I was talking last, we mentioned this, I was talking about there was only one that had breached that 100 million. Now there's four once again. So MindMed, BBBY, BBIG, and this drug all now over that 100 million mark on the day. 108, 109, 115, 176 there for MindMed leading this afternoon. PSTV did break back below $1. It did get above this morning when we were talking about it in the pre-market on its own news, if you remember. Back below once again, still 81 million on the day, 76 for the SQs and about the same for the TQs. Chris on here and that Neptune Wellness as well. They tweeted a positive tweet. Neptune Wellness, they have wellness and healthcare products. They sell them in Walmart. They tweeted about improving sales and monster sales numbers in Walmart stores. So 64 million for NEPT. Little REIT here, CDR, the biggest gainer, 206 on little volume though, 400,000 shares, 108 there for drug, guys.
Well, you want volume. The volume is in Weber and not the the former power forward for the
Sacramento Kings.
For the Sacramento Kings.
Golden State Warriors.
Oh yeah, he started with the
Yes,
Warriors.
he did. Chris
he
Webber,
started with
man.
the Warriors.
Love Chris Webber. What? Shout out to Michigan.
Great player. I'm Michigan State more than
Fab
Michigan
Five,
guy, but
baby.
the Fab Five was legit. All the way to $10 here on Weber. Now we know Weber, it's not the biggest float out there. Checks
Notes.
Checks notes. Actually turns my head over to Float Checker. Great site. It's funny, we're not even affiliated with them.
Checker.
But I check Float Checker. The short interest is all over the bloody place on that site. It's like 20% up to 50%, and then the float's either 17 million or it's 42 million.
Yeah.
All I take from that is decent short interest, pretty big, and then very small float, relatively speaking. So Weber powering through $10. It just broke 10 even. A bit of a failed breakout there. I'm trying to pay for shorts quickly because a wick top, and I'd want to enter at 990 with a 10.05 stop, but we don't have any locates on it, so I have to quickly pay for them. That could take me about 20 seconds.
All right, that's fine. Obviously, there will go a good idea to short Meta. All I had to do was talk about it a little bit, and then there it comes right back into the downside. So we start taking some profits. We only now have. Well, we have about 40% left on this position, maybe a little bit less, 35% or so left on that position for Meta as it just came right back in. And I'm doing something completely opposite. I told you guys that we would look at our chart, and I'm going to go over to Meta once Neil can get that. But I just want to, the 2 minute was great. I was using it and everything, but that was more for trying to hold things a little bit longer. But I realized that that's not really the style that I've been doing quite well. It's more about trying to scalp and get in and get out and watch out for key levels and wick tops and things like that. And it's just, you see wick tops when you're on 1 minute charts because that's when they happen. If it's a 2 minute chart, then I miss those kind of things. So I've just been studying it and sometimes you do switch it up a little bit. So I did switch back over to a 1 from a 2. Now, who trades on a 1 minute chart? Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see too many people doing that, but I will, and I'm going to do it again because I still think that I have the ability to hold this. So I don't think the 1 minute's going to hurt me for holding, but it just does let me see a little bit better for me anyways what I'm doing. So we're going to do that right now, and we're having a decent day off that, including Microsoft being short right now as that's come back in. We should have shorted here, we didn't, but there's the one short for Microsoft, and again, noticing some of these wick tops going short, bringing that back in right now. Palantir, I mean, this one for some reason is just remaining pretty high up right now, but we just took a 16 out. Hopefully that can fall back in. And then our Bed Bath & Beyond is right now at the lows of the closing session here, touching 1750 again. So it's just been back and forth here at 1750. I don't want to get this out because I don't feel like it's in jeopardy of ripping or anything like that. So even if it goes back to 18, there's enough support here, and I'd only be giving up 50 cents. I feel like the downside here for Bed Bath & Beyond is more than 50 cents, including, I might just go short. I really do think that we get into this area and it doesn't hold. So
it's going to drop like a...
That's what I mean. It's going to drop it like it's hot today.
Hot.
So we'll see there. There it goes. I mean, all we have to do, Neil, is talk about it a little bit, and it's starting to get accelerated to the down. Yeah, as
punch
if
in first, talk later.
Yeah, but
I've learned
that's
that
what I'm
lesson.
saying. Kind of like tongue-in-cheek, or as if we're influencing Bed Bath &
No,
Beyond.
I know we're not. We're joking.
Yeah, there it goes there to the downside. And again, this is why, if you're watching us for the first time, this is what we do the best, man. We're going to talk about names that are ripping, moving. We have Cook moving now, Traeger. We have Weber. We're looking at Bed Bath & Beyond. We're talking about levels, right? CNBC, or whatever that channel is called, they might talk about this move later on. They might blah, blah, blah. But if you're going to be trading
They're not
live,
talking about Weber at any point.
Weber, no. If they are, maybe they're talking
happen.
about barbecuing up their, their whatever paychecks over there. But we eat what we kill here. On that note, I got a new barbecue coming through. May or may not have fallen off a truck, but that's going to be real nice as well.
You got a link?
As that comes through. It's not a Weber, no.
No, I'm looking for one. Do you have a link?
Maybe.
Maybe we'll talk after. We'll talk after.
Yeah, I got lots of stuff happening. But all right, so why? Wait a second here.
By the way,
Black Beauty Machine goes, why is Sean so mean to Neil?
Why are you mean to me, bro?
I don't know why, Neil. I apologize for being so mean.
That ain't right. Well, by the way, thank you for taking over because I did pay for the shorts in Weber. They were exactly 1.5 cents per share. Actually, 1.57 cents per share for us. I said I wanted to short off of that high, and a wick top through $10. Got the short at 80s. Didn't really get I wanted more at 90s, but like I said, I was a little bit slow getting the locates. Got some out 60s, got some out 30s. Going to play it all the way back to 9 even. I'm not thinking it's going to necessarily break there. You had a lower high, so you had a pre-market high or morning high, I should say, of 875. But the other thing, which always I say, when in doubt, zoom out. 200 period right here at 10 bucks. I mean, if you look at the last time it got to 10, there's wick top to 12, and then next day, 10 resistance flush. Like, where do you think people that are looking at this are going to want to take profit or look for shorts? At 10. And they also think it's going to be a big breakout at 10. So what happens when it breaks 10, goes 5 cents, and slams back down? People that want to take profit are like the move is reversing. People that want to short are going to short at that price level. But it works both ways. If it then stalled out at 75 and then consolidated here and takes out a fresh high, well, that's a long setup to be sure. So for now, the short is working. I'll try to hold it down to 9 even. But Weber working to the downside, worth the pay for shorts. So that means Arun would never have taken it.
We had a great question from a viewer that we thought we would address in a video format such as this, and that is on stops, guys. A new trader asked, why do I keep getting stopped out of trades? We're going to talk about stop placement, one of the most important things to learn when you're starting out in the market. Proper stop placement, regardless of your time frame, is going to prevent this problem, guys. Let's talk about stops.
So the thing about stops is, like, you wonder why your stops get run.
Right.
It's about, like, it's an overly simplistic answer, but I'm going to have to say it anyways because I was literally just talking about it with a name like 2 seconds ago. If it is the most obvious price or most obvious level on the chart, you have to ask yourself, like, if somebody is a larger trader and has a lot of shares and is looking to maybe have it go one direction or the other, the cost to have it go an extra few cents so that it hits that level, gets a bunch of people out. In this case, I'm going to talk about Weber. If it's at $10, psychologically, it's a monster level. Going to the higher time frame, it's a monster technical level. There are going to be stops galore, whether it's people wanting to stop break long, whether it's people that have stops that want to be short in front of it. So if it gets very close to that price, and all of a sudden there's only a few thousand shares on the bid or offer, well, it's very likely to get stop hunted. Because if it goes a couple of cents above, everybody understands that a lot of stops are going to get triggered. A lot of people who might have that short on will get stopped out, and if that's a simple case, that could have washed out some of them, and then somebody can get back in underneath. And we talk about it all the time. If you think a big move is going to happen off of that level, like you think you can drop $1, well, then don't have your stop exactly at 10 even. Give it to 10.05. Maybe give it to 10.10. But you do that because you're expecting a bigger move, so you're willing to take a bigger hit. That's part of the game. If you're scalping it, sure, sometimes that even stop is fine. But if that level is way too obvious on the chart, you're not the only one that sees it, and there's stop hunters out there, and sometimes you just got to give it that extra few cents.
I was kind of laughing at the beginning of the question because it's like, why am I always getting stopped out? It's because you're on the wrong side of the trade.
There's another answer, obviously.
There is another answer to that one as well. But look, Neil and myself, Brendan, we all trade with stop orders. I mean, if you can't trade multiple symbols at once without having stop orders, or maybe you can and you're just not trading big enough shares, which would be fine as well. I think the most important thing when you're talking about stop orders is just to understand what your time frame is, whether or not you're trading for the day, for the week, for the month, and you know, why are you stopping yourself out? What is the reason for that? And I mean, Neil just did the work on the chart. I just want to talk more about the mental side of it. It's like, I think that you should stop yourself out, when you've sort of reached a certain plateau as far as profit is concerned. And I know we say hide your net, don't worry about that. But like, if you take 1,000 shares of, I can even go over here on Bed Bath & Beyond and just do something that's a little more dramatic of an issue here. This is a 20-minute chart, right? And it's like, if you take 1,000, like if you're looking at the chart like this, let's pretend that we don't see any of this here. We don't see any of this move breaking past this 17 mark, okay? But like right there, that top is 17 right here on Bed Bath & Beyond. So I wouldn't have any problem if he made that high and then you said, you know what, I'm going to go short the next day. Now, forget about the fact that it went to 15. Maybe you took profit, maybe you didn't. But the point is that if you don't have a stop here at that high, then no matter what amount of shares you have, look what happens after that. It rips up to $28 or $29. So basically, you're going to lose everything. Like if you're short at 17, the best it can go to is 0. So you're going to make $17. But you lose $12 real quick right there in about a week if you don't have your stop order. So for me, it's like you can look at charts and pick these levels, and I think you should do it. But also, I think the important thing about stop orders is you have to have the comfortable amount of shares so that if your stop gets hit, that you're okay losing that amount or making that amount of money, right? And so that to me is the key thing about stop orders. Don't let yourself get greedy. If it's only a $2 move down that you've noticed here, like it goes to 15, then maybe your stop, if you're short at 17, maybe put your stop at 19, like $2 risk to reward type of stuff. So I like to say that sure, there is technical reasons, obviously, to place your stop order, but a lot of the time too is, don't let your greed or your lack thereof responsibility, especially when you're short, to overtake where you should put those stops. So I think there's a technical level, and there's also a level where mentally, this is too much for me to hold. I have to get out.
I love that concept and the simple fact of going back to the beginning and saying, is the idea, is the thesis behind the trade still valid? If yes, then why are we stopping out? If no, then you got to stop yourself out of the trade. So there you go. Hope that helps. A few really great tips there, guys, on how to properly place your stops.
All right.
Yeah,
So there we go. That's those are our evergreen videos. Those of you guys that have been,
again.
those
Sorry.
of you guys, are you chilly over there?
No, Weber's coming again.
I mean, no, I didn't mean to be mean to you there. I didn't mean to be mean to you there.
No, I was saying Weber's coming again.
Oh, Weber's coming in
so
again.
look at this. It does the exact same move. Well, I took more, which means I actually have to adjust my stop. We were just talking about stop orders. It's like now I have to adjust said stop order because it had a different amount of shares on it there. So another wick high. So I think this time it has a much greater chance of breaking out. This is pretty valid for like a long break. I always prefer to buy these things on dips, right? So there goes the high of the day. And like we said, I think you always have to have a stop there. If you're holding on, just saying for sure it's going to work again, well, look at that wick. It just went up to 1050. I should have just reversed it. I was kind of talking about reversing it, and I'm like, nah. And then obviously it would have worked out for you there if you do the reverse. But you have to have a stop. There is no way you want to be sitting there when you're trying to take like a 980 or 990 down into 50s, right? Like you're trying to get 40, 50 pennies, maybe hold on to the last bit for 80 to 90 cents, but then you want to take like a 50 penny hit. Nah, that's not going to work out for you. It just, like you could what? You're going to average into it at this point and then, okay, fine, now my price is even better. Now it only has to come back to 10. Well, then what happens to you when it goes to $14 or $12.50? Now I'm just kicking myself that I didn't reverse into the long. Good long, I think, if you reversed it. If it dips back down and touches 10, bounces off it, fine. At some point, I kind of figure this is going to halt the way it's going right now. Why did I not just go long?
All right, so yeah.
Oh, that would have been a great entry too.
Well, you always go short.
Yeah, but I reversed AMC.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, hindsight, right? I mean,
I know.
If we had that,
But the funny thing is I'm talking.
What position on Weber anyways?
It's like I'm talking to myself about it, but really, I've said time and time in the afternoon that when you're playing these to the long side, it's usually a better entry point when you get the consolidation. Because the other side of it is when you take the breakout, what's your out? Like if you do get that 10-10, what, you're going to let it back through 10 even with a super tight stop? That'll work. In this case, that would have worked. But if your stop is, to the next support level, then you're risking 70 pennies and it's got to go to 12 for that to make sense. So the tricky thing about breakouts is when you're buying highs and it's already gone parabolic is where are you wrong? That's why I like the consolidation a bit better. And as I say it, it's about to test 11 even. I'm looking for a dip in this thing back to 10. And, ooh, my chat crashed. I got to refresh that.
All right. I was going to show my chat here, and I'm going to do that right now. Han Kui Shen, thank you so much for this question. And the thing is, when we do the show, we have zero script, zero everything. So you guys probably
You didn't get the script?
You probably know that. Stop being mean to me, bro.
You didn't get the script, Sean? Oh, man.
Okay, so
it's a good one. Wait till you see what happens in 5 minutes.
Neil, you're being mean, man. You're interrupting.
You're goddamn right.
We're just playing around. Someone said, how long have we been friends for? I think it's more than 30 years. I mean, how old are we? What was it, grade 7, 8? Oh, no, you were at Fletcher's Creek. So
no, I wasn't. So
Davis?
No,
I mean,
you
I
guys,
don't know.
you guys were Davis. I was at Centennial.
Oh, Centennial. That's, I didn't mean Fletcher's Creek. I meant Centennial.
Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Anyways, okay. So let's just go back to this. All right.
Grade
so
nine, grade 9.
Yeah, grade 9.
Grade 9.
So about 10 years ago. All right. So here we go. Han Kui Shen. We didn't talk about algos or AI, and that's, I meant to do that when I was talking about those mental stops and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to say that more goes towards what Neil was saying. Imagine, building an AI. Wow, look at Cook, man. Look at Traeger
These
right
things
here.
are gone.
You want to steam your food up here? Look, smoke it? Look at Traeger smoking.
All right,
Not only can you smoke your ribs with Traeger, but look at this. Boom, right here. Nice upside move. I mean, where the halt is, I don't know, but that's a beautiful move to the upside starting here. Well, I guess it only started at 350, so it almost came pretty close there, up to $4. A big time move here for Traeger grills. You can see very, very, very much sleepy. I'll pull this up so you can see the volume. Sleepy until right now, 2 o'clock. Boom, up to the upside, $4 coming through on Traeger. We've done this before over and over again, so watch out for $4. It stopped here a couple times. If you get greedy, the high's been 425, 430 on this name in the last week or so. So watch out for that one. But what I was going to say is, just like we're talking about right here, algos got to be built somehow. And what they often are built on, of course, are key levels, momentum, things like that. So when momentum starts dying off, algos will definitely take the trade the other way or vice versa. So depending on how they're built, you are right, Mr. Shen there on the chat, that algos and AI and all that will hunt down, which is what Neil was saying, hunt down those stops. So you put them at obvious spots, you'll get run through there. And even if they don't run your stop, it just pushes it further outside extending, because a lot of the times they'll try to see like, hey, is there any volume? And that's why you get these wicks. Like, is there any volume up here when we push it? Do the buyers still continue to come in? If not, then they'll wait. Like, an algo will take 30,000 shares long just to see if there's anybody up there. If there's not, then they'll smash short 100,000, right? So it's like they may lose initially, but then always get paid on the way back.
That is one of the old, dirtiest sort of things you used to see in trading. It happened, it still happens now, but it happened a lot, like back in just after the 08 crisis, where essentially, like if you're sitting there tape reading or watching a level 2,
right,
is like someone would come in with size. If they wanted to short the stock, let's just say, they would come in at a key price level and just slam it and make it look like it's about to go. And the second other people started buying and getting out of it, they would just take 3x or 4x in the other direction, trap everybody, and then you were just toast. And and if you know you're going to go 100K short, then so who cares if you go 30,000 long and make it go up? You're just going to get your short at a better price, and you end up trapping people. Dirty as all hell, but it's the kind of thing that you'd see a heck of a lot more in the past. Now it's just the algos doing it. Tellurian is strong right now. Thank you guys for pointing this out. Tell's up 11%. This is a natural gas name here. I used to trade this a little bit, but I'm loving this on the daily chart. Like 420 looks like a great level for this. I'm not sure we'll see it again, but I got to put this one back on the radar. It's back on the mend. I remember trading this back last year. Well, sorry, not last year, earlier on in the year, I should have said, when it broke out and was fantastic. It broke out at $3, and then trending longs. There was a couple of stutter steps, and then it got back to those highs. Got away from it when it flushed like everything else, but yeah, it's back on the mend now. Good cheap nat gas play. Tends to get going really well when it trends to the upside. I don't know if it's like an algo thing, but yeah, this should be on everybody's radar. This is very linear though. Like the volume's been consistent, steady, nothing too crazy there. But now starting to get a little bit top heavy. When I see these parabolic candles, that's when you don't want to be joining at the top. And Weber didn't quite get to 12. If it got to 12, then you could I was going to do the same thing, and sometimes you should only do it once, but if it got to 12, I was looking at that level in the daily as the same thing. If it's going to fall at 1160, sometimes the best short's when it doesn't get to resistance and then pulls back.
All right, we have to do this, man. We have to spin this, because here it is again for my man Sharif, who did an amazing job on the midday show. So we'll spin it for Sharif there again. Look, we just tweeted this out about our meta short. Like, follow @TraderTV, Sean. We just tweeted this out, why we like this meta short. I mean, it wasn't just. We tweeted out when we were up here. I think it was even before that reload, why we liked it, what we were talking about with Meta. So there it is, a nice little pullback down in, and we have to take more profit, baby, on that one. So there it comes in. Meta, more profit, yes, sir, on that. So we are now way over the 1-to-1. I mean, our short for Meta is at 60. We are giving it to 80, so that's 20 pennies. We're now in the money, 60 pennies. So 3-to-1 on the risk to reward right now. We might as well take some out. We just started doing that. I'm trying to change the way I trade a little bit. So that was a good one there on that. I do hear people talking about PayPal and MindMed. I don't know.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
Which one?
MindMed broke down. It took out that 112.
Did it take $1? No.
No, 112.
Yeah, but it took $1 earlier though.
Earlier today.
Yeah, and then I'm surprised. I'm surprised it battled back.
It did. It only gave to 90 cents. It sucked.
Yeah, 90 cents is almost flat. I'm actually surprised that once it hit $1, I thought it would have been game over. But yeah, the MindMed shareholders came right back in like crazy. Like that from the bottom is 30%. I mean, that's a great move. They're intraday since 12:30, up 30%. Okay, we're getting ready for. I was going to say, I just heard Brendan, and I was like, throw to Brendan, but we are getting ready with Danielle Shea coming up. Glad to have her back on as well, coming through. But MindMed, again, what a great move to that side right there. Okay, Meta, 75 cents in the money as that's continuing to go to the downside. Okay, Meta, let's go, man. We take this short, 20 cents against us, now printing 80 cents in the money. Let's wait to see. I still think we have VWAP coming down here, right into 174.70, which is my next out. So you got to get some outs as you go down in for these stocks. Same thing, too. We got Bed Bath & Beyond, $3 in the money. Meta, Microsoft, and Palantir. It's not often you're going to see no longs on the board, but I've been short this market for quite a while. Be interesting to hear what Danielle has to say. Let's go over to Brendan at the big desk.
There are a few other things moving around right now as well. NTNX, huge volume behind a move back to day highs. There's also APRN starting to go along with these barbecue names. But this one, yeah, it's 6.3%, just taking out that spike high there for NTNX. Yeah, let's bring in Danielle Shea, VP of Options at Simpler Trading. Great to see you. Welcome back. We missed you last week. Hope you enjoyed your time off. How was your week so far?
Hey, it's been great. Just looking for good setups in the market and trying to get through this summertime slop. It's pretty low volume right now. So what that means is I think that there's volume sitting on the sideline, and I'm trying to get prepared to ready, set, and go.
It's like you can feel it. It's almost there, but it's not quite there yet. Let's talk about a few things here. Obviously, big week for the retail sector. Not only did we get that retail print back on Wednesday morning, but we also get a whole slew of retail names reporting earnings. I mean, as a group, it was fine. I mean, it's kind of been the theme so far this earnings reporting season. They've all kind of been fine. There's been nothing really terribly exciting. Want to get your thoughts on Walmart, though. If you remember going back a month ago, Walmart, the first to come out and say, hey, guess what? This could be a problem. And then the earnings report is fine.
You know what? I really think the executives wisened up over the course of the last quarter because they saw what happened to their share prices the quarter before last when they announced surprises on the actual earnings date. So really what we've seen this quarter, especially looking at Walmart, I mean, if you look at this chart, you can see that they came out, they pre-announced bad news. What was that? On the 25th of July. The stock dropped 10%. And after that, everybody knew what was going on and there wasn't anything to be afraid of. So you had buyers come in, push the share prices up. By the time that earnings actually came out, nobody had to worry about the bad news because it was already known and the thing jumps all the way up above the 200 simple. So I think that what we've seen this earnings season is that executives have wisened up. They're pre-announcing the bad news. So when it comes to the earnings reports, you can actually look at charts like this that are able to reclaim those key areas of resistance. And now it's up above the 200 simple. I mean, Walmart's looking great now. So that is the theme that I'm looking for the rest of the quarter and into next quarter.
We always get the big back to school kind of pre-rally in some of these names as well. When you talk about Walmart, you talk about Target even, definitely a beneficiary of that. Target this week, I mean, put Target aside if you want, but give me your thoughts on this week. There were a few big names. How did you approach this week's names and what were you trading?
So, here's the thing is that even though the data is bad, and I mean, I've been pretty vocal about the fact that the data is not good, right? We've got inflation, we have people buying less expensive items. Walmart noted that, Target noted that. But the fact of the matter is because of the pre-announcements, you really haven't seen anything too destructive. So with Target in particular, this thing gapped up, it pulled back to the 8 EMA. I think that we just continue trading these things to the long side at this point, especially the ones that break up above key resistance. Right now, I'm looking at Lowe's in particular. Target's interesting to me as long as it can hold the 8 EMA on the daily chart. But what I'm really interested in is Lowe's, because I want to see if Lowe's can reclaim this $220 price point. Right now, it's looking a little bit dicey, and it honestly looks like a little bit more of a fade post earnings just because it hasn't been able to get up above this level and hold it. But what I'm looking for is I'm specifically looking for charts that were able to use earnings to breach up above what was resistance, and that's now support, because I want to see if they're going to be able to launch off and keep going. Right now, you're right in the middle of those zones, and it's yet to be determined if they're just going to roll over and die or keep going. But I think that's the trade here.
It's a good theme for the conversation in general, going back a couple of weeks, even for the overall market. Is it just going to roll over and die, or are we going to continue here? We get the Fed minutes this week as well. I think everyone was maybe looking for more of a clue as to when they plan on slowing things as far as interest rate hikes and the pace at which they are hiking goes. As far as the market is concerned, we talked about 4,200, I think the last time you were on here on the S&P. We go right through to 4,300 and then some. So now what?
So, I was listening to Sean right before I jumped on, and I heard him say he was shorting a few things. I've been waiting all summer to get back on the short side because I went into, the summer pretty much like May, the beginning of June. I was shorting pretty heavily. Once the put call ratio got so high and everyone was so short, I was still looking for short opportunities on earnings, but I haven't really been able to short much of anything because there's been way too much strength. So my main focus right here is whether or not this main index, the S&P, can get up above this 200 simple moving average. You're looking at like 4,300, 4,350, and there's so many charts. We just looked at a couple of them, Lowe's, Walmart, that look exactly like this, right? So here's my thought is if the S&P can get up above this level, I think that it will set off even more FOMO-based buying and we can continue to ride the wave. But at the same time, you're so extended and it makes sense to revert to the mean. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for any kind of signal that will tell me which direction this thing is going to go. And at this point, all we're getting is stagnation and a lack of volume. So what I need is a trigger either to the upside or the downside. And honestly, I don't care which way it comes. I'll trade it either way.
It's interesting when you talk about catalysts. I mean, we have a number of members of the Fed speaking this afternoon. Kashkari saying that he doesn't think that, the Fed's going to be able to avoid a recession. On the other hand, there's a few others saying they've already done too much. So it's back and forth we go when trying to find that catalyst for the overall market. But great point. Let's look forward a little bit here because I was going over some earnings that are coming up next week, and there are actually quite a few that are definitely going to provide opportunities. We get NVIDIA, we get Salesforce, we get Snowflake, Peloton, but it's Peloton. Some of the Chinese names as well. JD.com going to report next week. What are you looking forward to next week?
So, I think next week is going to be really critical. I know we're kind of in the point of earnings where it's slowing down a bit, but the reason why NVIDIA is so in focus for me is because of the way that the semiconductors have just been so quiet and they've been a little bit held down, especially by all of the issues going on between Taiwan, China, and the US. Here's my thing, Brendan. I think that if the semiconductors can keep going here, then that is what's going to be the catalyst for the NASDAQ to break out. I don't think that the NASDAQ can maintain upside pressure with only really Apple carrying it higher. It needs the semiconductors. And right here, if you look at this chart of SMH, I mean, you can see the way that it shifted trends. You know, it's pulled back to the 21 EMA. This is my key area of resistance. It broke through all of my resistance. It just needs a catalyst to keep going. And it would make sense that it's NVIDIA earnings. You know, you've got NVIDIA pulled back, looks like it's ready to launch, nice cup and handle pattern. NVIDIA normally does well on earnings. The last 2 quarters, if we pull up the data and see what actually happened with this stock on earnings, it was pretty soft. You know, it fell 5.5%. The quarter before that, 3.5%. But prior to that, I mean, we had this really nice trend in NVIDIA, and I'm holding out for this quarter for this thing to trade higher. And the reason is this. What we saw last quarter and the quarter before is that everybody was shocked when companies reported bad news, but now it's so priced in at this point, they could still report and have it not be that positive and still trade higher, which is the craziness that we're living in right now. So for me, NVIDIA is highly in focus. Depending on where it's trading at the time, I'll decide if I'm going to sell put credit spreads or not. But if NVIDIA can carry the semis higher, then that could be the catalyst to break the NASDAQ higher. And if not, we're still stuck under resistance.
Hey, look, it's always a good day when we have Miss Danielle on the stream here. So thank you once again for coming back this week. We're glad to have you. How's your week been?
It's been great. It's been awesome. Just, you know, doing the whole back to school thing. What about you?
Oh my God. Yeah, my wife was telling me she's already at Costco, and you know what they already have there? Snowsuits. I know that's not a problem probably in Texas there, although you guys got snow last year, I think, some parts there. But anyways, yeah, it's going pretty good. Shopping, you've seen Walmart, obviously back to school is going to be big for them. One question I had for you though, Danielle, and we talked about this, I believe, the last time we were on. What's your opinion with oil? I mean, I'm thinking that we do have some of the sanctions coming back online here, or coming for the first time from Russia to the rest of Europe, going to be happening in the fall, heading into winter months. They've talked about cutting off gas supply and so on and so forth, or limiting that to the rest of Europe. And I have the chart up right here on a daily. I feel like oil has run right into this 85 level here that we saw back in October, November. So this is crude. We obviously had that high back on June the 8th of 124 before absolutely falling back down in. That's June 15th, sorry, falling back into this $88 mark. So you do get a pretty nice retracement back down. I mean, you're taking 50% and it's $60 off of 120, bringing it back down here to $88. So for me, I remain bullish on oil. I know we're below. That's the 200 right here at 95. Plus we have the 50 up here at 98. So we are still below. I feel like this is a decent opportunity to pick up some oil as, you know, some of the summer months obviously coming to an end here, heading into winter. Historically been a good time for oil and nat gas, and we've seen some nat gas going a little crazy here today as well. Any opinions on what oil might be saying to you?
Hey, you know, I love your analysis, and that fundamental take makes complete sense. You know, I was actually just talking to Sam about this, who you guys had on your show when I was out of town last week. And he was looking at Oxy. Now, I really like XLE here. I have been buying long-term shares in my long-term accounts of just XLE throughout the course of the summer. I know that it corrected a little bit steep, but after the incline that it had, you know, it makes sense that that would be the case. I like XLE. I like Oxy. I was just looking at Chevron as well. I think that we're going to start seeing oil prices go higher. I think we're going to start seeing XLE as a whole go higher. And I think as far as trades are concerned, we can definitely start selling some put credit spreads on some of these major oil names.
I agree. I mean, I think I like all that kind of stuff, and I like that you bring the options into that play as well for some of our home viewers that, again, under the PDT rule, some of these guys can't, you know, scalp the way that we do, obviously, here on the show. But I've been sort of pumping XLE and another one in Canada called ZEO. There, you guys say Z or Z? Because, like, you know, here with Jay-Z, you know, we talk about that. And when you're doing the alphabet, it's like XYZ, you know, JZ. Like, are we ever going to be saying that? I don't know. But anyways, okay. This is what we do on the show, Danielle. We get a little bit drifty here. So, yeah, thanks. Oh, predictions on the NFL season. I mean, I know you go back and forth there, being a Kansas City fan. Is that where your loyalties still stand heading into this year? I know Patrick Mahomes, I think, is like 6th or 7th ranked quarterback as far as fantasy is concerned heading into this year.
7th. He's like number 2.
No, I see on some of the fantasy websites that I'm seeing right now, 6th or 7th there. But anyways, Neil, obviously a fan of the Buffalo Bills as well. But any predictions?
I have
into
Mahomes in fantasy. That's in the league that we're in. So he's trash talking.
No, I'm not trash talking. Okay, anyways, we'll go back to this. But any predictions on the NFL season, Danielle?
Hey, I'm probably not the best person to ask, but I'm always going to vote for the Kansas City Chiefs because, hey, that's where I'm from. Can't vote against the hometown team.
Especially when you got barbecue like that and tailgating
Exactly.
like that.
And you know what? And they're going to do a fantastic job losing into the AFC Championship game to the Buffalo Bills. So it'll be fantastic when they get there. Sure. Thank you so much, Danielle. As always, it's a blast having you on there. We like to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, VP of Options at Simpler Trading. Thank you, Danielle. Promise you'll come back next week?
It's going to be my birthday next week. Are you going to sing me a song or what?
Neil will, for sure. Thank you. We'll do a
Hold
little
a
bit of a backflip.
I'll sing you happy birthday. I don't care.
Yeah,
Why
it's
not?
okay. You don't have
You
to
can come,
sing.
if
I'm
you're coming
totally
on your birthday, we can sing you happy birthday. Or at least I'll sing you happy birthday.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe there's a happy birthday rap or something. We can
not rapping happy birthday.
We can come up with, it's your birthday, Danielle Shea, next week.
That's
We're very, very
awesome.
excited. So, okay, we'll give you
Now
a pass.
now you have to come back.
Or I was
No?
gonna, well, see, we just said the opposite thing. Now, I was going to give her a pass on her birthday. But
Well, if
okay.
you don't come, then happy birthday.
We'll talk about Danielle Shea, Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for coming on again, and enjoy your week, and happy birthday if we don't get to see you.
I'll see you next week.
Ciao.
See you.
All right,
Why
well,
not?
that got derailed real quick.
Sing happy birthday.
But that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah,
I like
it's
having
always
her
fun.
on.
It's
Yeah,
always fun.
definitely great spirit.
You know,
and
by the way,
so
you know
smart,
I'm
so
looking.
smart.
What website you're looking at that has Mahomes at 7?
I'll find you. I honestly, no, I wasn't. I wasn't trash talking. I was surprised.
I'm just saying. And we're a 2 QB league, by the way. I want everyone, if you understand the difference in that, we're a 2 QB league, and my QBs, and it's a keeper league, are Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And that's why I was in the final last year, because those two they're solid, man.
Yeah, those two are solid.
They're the best.
There
The
is, no
best.
doubt
Number
about
one, number two. See, a few people have been talking about blue, and blue's been more or less dead to rights for the last little bit here. But it gets interesting. If it holds above $6, I see what people are probably getting at there, that if we break that, it looks interesting. It hasn't happened, so I don't think there's a there. But the other thing that was happening while all that was going on, two things I should say. One, Apple got back down to 174, right back into this 174.5, so that scalp worked out. I did have a flat in there as well when it took out the lows, just jumped right back in. When it looked like the market was breaking down, I just figured I'll take like the 10-cent hit, and then if it holds, I'll get back into it. Ended up working out for me, but what didn't, and we'll go to PayPal for a quick second, because PayPal had the wick off top at 100, jumped in at 99 and change, 99.90 and change, and then put my stop at the high, and it takes out that top. I guess I'm not believing in the longs enough, but I like that wick off top. PayPal now running from there, but we talked about have a stop order. I've been favoring shorts with like usually 1 or 2 longs, whether it's Apple or Nvidia, but this does feel like it has a chance to take out some highs here. So I am going to look for something other than just Apple. Speaking of Nvidia, I never got into it. I thought we'd be dipping a little closer to VWAP. Looks like 187 is the level for now, the higher low on Nvidia. That's where support seems to be. So if I want the long, I'll have to try it off 87 first.
Tony ate all the birthday cake. People saying that the stream is a little laggy. So, I mean, all we can really do is log out and back in or refresh or, whatever the story is there for your stream. So, yeah, make sure that that's okay there for sure. As we head into Power Hour now, it is now 3 o'clock. That went on for quite a bit there, so that was fun. All right, let's just go back over. Meanwhile, Meta did make a move all the way back to the upside. I was still waiting for another retracement back to 175.60 there. Didn't come in. I'm still waiting for that print. So that's why you got to take something out, and we did discuss that earlier. A name that's sort of gone back up to the upside here is Palantir as well. As the market, I mean, it's just drifting back to the highs, and that's why today is a much more chilled out day because I'm not waiting for a big move. I mean, we've seen this happen over and over again in this closing period where the market kind of just dances around and it's like I get stopped out because I go short there. And then it's like, oh my God, it just hits the high and then it comes back down in. So we don't really want to throw some money around on that if it does come back in. So we'll have to wait on that one for some of these names. Palantir has made its move back up. I'm only going to get out if it does retrace back up to like a VWAP position, something like that. It's still down on the day, so I don't mind it, but I don't really want to reload the short either because there wasn't much power to that short side. Weber, I don't know. There was some news that came out a little bit while ago, about 6
It's gonna
minutes
catch
ago.
me like something in my eye.
I don't know what that Weber news is, but we'll get to that. Bed Bath & Beyond does go right into that level. I don't even know. Fahad's on that one. Right into the 725 area that we said would be the next sort of spot there. So it's come right back up. It tested view up again at 1820. So there is something there. You can watch out for that. 1722 coming in now for Bed Bath & Beyond. So that's been the bottom. Looking to take longs. It's just got supported a couple times down there at 17 and a quarter. So that could be something as well as this market getting heated. People talking about GCT right
It's
now,
back.
Brendo. What's up, Brandon?
Just on that Weber, guys, it was that Will Mead guy on Twitter tweeting about Weber. This one as well, G-Sun, we mentioned it during Trader Prad show, back to day highs here. Not a lot of volume here. It is, what is it, $76 right now, but this is a Chinese online education company that has been given the go-ahead to resume their operations. So a number of halts on the way up here initially this morning, trying to take out the highs.
Yeah, no halt there though. I mean, that just went $14.50 into $18 without a halt. It's really thinly traded, despite the volume that it's got. It is pretty thin out there, so do watch out. Like your stops there have to be a little bit wider, and understand that. Like the spread, 10, 20 cents here. Like sometimes it opens to 30. I was a little surprised it didn't halt on the upside, but if it does pull back in here, I got to figure like this. Forget about 14. Like you look at this lower high at $15. That it put them on the way down. I think that can be a little bit of support, or just a place where the buyers might step back in. That's the better way to think about it. Support levels, then you get a little too confident when you're considering it. The only shorts that are working right now, because a firm could come out, NEO, which was doing absolutely nothing all afternoon, looks like it's trying to keep above VWAP. A 36 is coming into play on a firm, but AMC continues its sort of downward trajectory as it slowly grinds to the downside. And the thing about the way that it's been trading, like you'll just sort of go sideways, you'll be sitting in it, then it'll break the shelf. It'll go sideways, you're sitting in it, and it'll break the shelf. But you have to watch out for Bed Bath & Beyond. As long as that's not screaming, I think it'll be okay sitting in this and just sort of working with that notion one more time. NVIDIA now challenging 87. So I do much prefer getting it at VWAP here, but the trend is pretty strong. And if we're going to make a run at the high of the day, the ES is getting there. The NASDAQ wants to try as well. The chips have been leading. I want to be buying the dip here in NVIDIA. I'll give it to about 186.85 or so, just down, just a little bit lower than that 87. But I want to get the bid in front of 87 if I can even catch this. Maybe the market doesn't want to come down to me.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this market, like I said, you're up at those highs again. Some of those, there's GCT, by the way, just touched 18 again there, and it really started to get going off of that 15 break. So we talk about using stop orders. You can use stop orders to get in or out. So right there, putting one to get in on a 15 break would have worked real nice. I don't know if you would have held it all the way to 18, but that's a nice little play there for GCT. Let's check out, I mean, a name that we haven't talked about at all today, maybe Revlon, because it's Playmaker's birthday. Happy birthday to Playmaker as well out there. I don't know. I haven't seen him in the chat. Well, maybe, hopefully he's not. Hopefully you're out there enjoying yourself there today. But let's just see if Revlon has anything. Not really. I mean, they've already sort of broken higher. 3.5 million shares is already nice. If you want to take out 875 there, maybe. Just wanted to look at another name. It's not moving. I do understand that. All right. So Bed Bath & Beyond is one that's moving. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
PSTV, the penny stock, is
PSTV?
moving. It wasn't the penny stock at the open, very, very briefly. I did try to defend one. I said I'd be on the bid of PSTV at $1. I did have it. It went up to 120. We got some out. Then we reloaded in front of $1, and then it promptly broke $1. So it was solid for like a minute. And then, like you said, you put in that lower high and you're dead. This feels like it's an obvious fade closer to $1 here. I mean, the volume is not that big behind the move, and it's weird. Like, this is going up. A lot of these left for dead stocks that were trending to the downside pretty much all morning long have found little bids here, whether it's the recent that IPO of the GCT. It's happening here in PSTV where they're coming to life here at the end of the session. I just feel once it makes a move like that, unless there's tremendous volume, it's likely to fade back in. It might not even get to $1. VWAP here at 92 could be a possible level of entry for me on PSTV. I'm pretty sure I paid for shorts, but as I realize that, I should double check to be sure that I actually have the locates on it. I think it'll make sense in front of 92.5. If it breaks that, I'll look at that dollar level.
I mean, I think we're also at a spot here, as I noticed my Microsoft, and it's not a big position, obviously, or else I would have been, a little more worried about this. But Microsoft has come all the way back up. It's only 10%. All these are outs all the way to the downside there. We have to do better on that, but it's been working for us on that front. So this is back up to 291. I mean, this high in the pre-market, I mean, whatever. Forget about that 292.50, but 291.75, so you're not too far away here. If we do think that there's going to be a little bit of back and forth action here on the futures, then this is going to be a good short spot for us, I feel like, here on Microsoft. That's 291.50. I mean, that's right where we're short. Probably worth putting out another spot here. That high, 291, I mean, I think we should probably just respect that high right there, 291.62. But if we bring it back a little bit, the open, where we basically, that's 925, but that level that kind of started everything was 291.80. So we talked about getting your stops run and things like that. If everybody in the world is looking at this high, then you may want to use one a little bit higher. But then you're adding to the problem, right? Because if it does break out, it's breaking out on strength, I would assume, and because the futures are taking off. So you want to be careful with it. I'm going to try to respect this high right there of 291.65 or so, and get short right now. So about 20 cents worth of risk. All it would need to do is come back here to the 50 period, which I think we can get, especially if this market drifts a little bit. And then if we take out any too much higher than that, which we're coming out to it right now, and I'm not short. So we're going to have to put some orders out right now for that. The market is going back upside. So I don't know. The market right now, let's have a quick look at that. You're still a little ways away from it. So I think it's worth a short here on Microsoft. Let's try it right now.
Yeah, someone just said have a look at NEO. Yeah, it's about to break out. I was gonna wait. I've been waiting for 20, but when I look at it here, it just, if it breaks 95, it just feels like it's probably reversing anyways. So I might just cancel my stop order. I'm on the stock anyways. If we break 95, it looks like it's breaking that trend. I've been sitting in the short since it failed the high of the day. Like I went from shorting under 20 to then reversing into a long. When it broke 20, it failed at the high of the day, their pre-market high of the day, I should say, and then came back to the downside, said, I'll favor the short, it looks like it's dead for the day, and now it's trying to get back to life. So no need to fight it. It's been going sideways in essentially like a 5 to 10 cent range for the entirety of this show, which is ridiculous. But if it breaks 95, it's probably headed to the upside there. I'm looking for, I really wanted something else to the long side. I just missed NVIDIA there. Just smidgen, like not aggressive enough. I was sitting at 25s, I think, or like 20. I should know it's at 21, so 87, 21s. Maybe step it up a little bit. Try and catch along in this range, because if we take out the high, suddenly I'd have a better price in there. As it looks like we're at least a little bit strong going into the afternoon, going into the end here. 45 minutes to go. Still plenty of time for some bigger moves. But it feels like some of these shorts, like it's like, why even wait for it? I'm just getting out of NVIDIA manually. Affirm, I have a stop through 36. That's probably going to hit as well. I still have Apple long, but at this point, like there's a part of me that just wants this to come back down so I can get back in, back in again instead of taking a top break. So I want something that hasn't run yet that I can get into. I'm hoping NVIDIA can be that, but I don't want to chase it too far.
I did like what Danielle was talking about with NVIDIA and AMD and the SMH. I mean, I've been trying to buy that thing for a long time, and we have done that, but we didn't really buy any bottoms there in SMH, because I still think that there's more bottoms to come. But I do like what she was looking at there with the NVIDIA earnings coming out and possibly being one of those catalysts for that upside. So we're going to watch out for that. There we go. We do put on a bigger position anyways for us. Ooh, nice out there. See if we can come back into 55 right now as we hit keys like madman. This is me back in sort of what I do, shorting that up there and then taking a little bit out here as we take off some risk into this trade now. We're looking to get shorter on Meta. We just took a nice trade here on Microsoft. Yes, sir, come in, let's go. Come into 51 now. Okay, so we took a 70 short there. You can see my price is 68. So good short. We're taking it out in the 50s right now. And again, all we're doing is just helicoptering this market. Like, we realize what kind of a market it is, right? So as you see now, it's okay, here we go. Here comes Microsoft back into 40s again. So yeah, this is starting to work out for us a little bit here. So feeling better right now about these trades. We're almost out of everything now on Microsoft, as it just came in. 40 was our target. Like, we just wanted to take sort of that 1-to-1. Our out was like we got short at 70, man. My out was 75. Like, it was only 5 cents worth of risk, and we just took right there 25 cents. So a good little take there. We're going to hold a quarter of this in case it comes back down in. So that was a good little trade there for me on Softy. You could see a quick little scalp up there on Microsoft. Glad we were able to talk about that with you. And you saw me do it live, so that's good. Anyways, you know, we put all of our we just put all of our ideas out there for you, right? So nice to see it work. And look what happens, man. Right back up comes Microsoft. So that's why sometimes it is worth, like, it just ripped. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about liquidity vacuums. Like, we just got out at 40 and we're cruising and talking about, like, how great that was. And then just a couple seconds later, it goes right back to the price that we were in at. So that's why I'm really happy with changing up to style. We talked about that, going back to the 1 minute chart, and then just trading off of that, hitting our levels and making that bank. So that's going to be a good trade for me there on Microsoft. Possible reload? Yeah, why not? Let's reload that at 60 again and see if it takes us out to the high side, which we hope it doesn't. Here it comes ripping back in here, Softy.
Just want to get the GCT's coming right back into VWAP here. So it made a fresh high, touched 18, broke 18, ran some stops, presumably at $18, and then right back into VWAP. So what can happen there is you just sort of wash out some weak hands, whatever you want to call it. Like, there's whatever term you want to put to it there, but it's running stops, it's washing out some weak hands. If it can but consolidate off of this VWAP here, I like 15 for support, and then 16 gives you a decent entry price. But it's got to go at least sideways. I want to see buyers come in first. I was just asked, like, where's my out? By the way, Firm just went through 36.10.
Yeah, Meta's doing the same thing.
So what's going at to that upside? I still can't, like, I don't want to chase NVIDIA. But NVIDIA is now, it touched 188, and I'm sitting back here 187.30s. I'm reloading AMC. What are my targets for AMC? I only want to bid at the fresh lows, which right now is about 1950, and then if it breaks low today, I want to hold on to it. But as long as it holds below the most recent resistance levels, which it's continuously doing, I want to maintain the short. That's about 1975 as we speak. Brendan?
There's volume coming into the trade desk, big time volume here. As we broke above 70 there, and it appears to be on a tweet. Apparently, Elon Musk is targeting ad tech firms in the Twitter suit over its takeover. So that's from Reuters coming through right now. But theoretically, that would be maybe negative for the trade desk, but big volume here for TTD.
Yes, that would be very negative for that. I mean, we're short Meta anyways. We just got that short. We did get taken out of Microsoft, so all is good, man. I mean, we took that trade. Like I said, we got short 68 and we got out 76. So we did take a 7-cent hit on that last piece, which is all good. Like, really glad that we took out. I told you we took out 3/4 of that trade down here. So all good on that one. But here comes Meta. Meta, we're just going to get lucky on that ad talk there because, I mean, not that they're an ad firm, but they are using ads, obviously, to target people. So I wonder if there's something about that. I mean, Elon Musk is just firing his shot right now. I don't, whether or not he's trying to get out of the deal, remember. So yeah, exactly. The more he turns sort of the gun on other people, the chance a lawyer, a judge, well, a lawyer will always side with whoever their client is, I think. But, a judge may, ease back on that. I don't know. We'll wait to see on that, but interesting for Brendan to come through on that one. So anyways, Meta we went short anyways against this 175.80 that we've talked about. So again, now we're short. Look, we're short at 60. So it's now 20 cents in the money. So hence taking out some profit there on the downside for Meta. And if it collapses in there, now it collapses in. But that trade desk, I mean, that's all that they do. So TTD, we'll have a quick look on these guys. I think Google could get hit on this too if there is anything. But yeah, I mean,
yet it spiked on the.
Not violent at all.
But it could have been a fade. That could have been a fade.
I mean, it's actually right where. So really nothing. So yeah, so my meta trade can't have anything to do with this because TTD's not doing anything, and that's the name that Brendan came with. So maybe nothing. We'll just check out Google quickly, and then we'll talk about something else because I just want to see. Yeah, nothing on Google either. So Megal, is that the next one there? Justin Herbert greater than Mahomes?
Okay, look, I understand. If we're going to talk about fantasy football, I understand the case for Herbert in fantasy over Mahomes. He's not a better real-life quarterback yet, and he might be eventually. But I get it.
People say Lamar as well.
I've seen most websites, they have Allen number 1. Mahomes is generally 2. to anywhere 2 to 5, but he averages out 2 to 3. And then Herbert's the most likely person to also be in that 2 range. Lamar is usually like 3 or 4. He's definitely top 5, but he can't stay healthy, and he also can't throw to the, he can't throw to the edges. That's a bit of a problem for him. But he's got a good young rookie quarterback. Or wide receiver. Second-year wide receiver Bateman. But I wanted to get to Mego. What I wanted for a long on Mego was a reestablish of VWAP right back above support, that 1350. So not only did it break it, but then when it rejected 14, it held 1350. And then once that happens, get a consolidation long, stop beneath this area here, which is about 1340, and then see if we can't take out some of these highs. So I like those consolidations a little bit better. It's just easier to structure a trade. We're waiting around for this. And saw someone pointed out in the chat, it's like sometimes you wait for it to get going. Yeah, you could have gone long off the low. This was a good consolidation too, but it felt like the next move at that point was going to be down. I'd rather join stronger buying going into this close here. And I have to scalp something. It's 323 already. Sheesh. So I'm going to scalp some out in front of 1420, but 15 even. If you get to that price, I'll be ecstatic, and then we'll definitely take some of that out. And as I mentioned with AMC, we're just kind of sitting in it. Every time it resists, get a little more, scalp it, 10, 15 pennies, and then if it makes a break of the next resistance level, or support level, I should say, and then we'll take some more out as it makes a fresh low. We are aware of the fact that it's already down 8%, and Bed Bath & Beyond isn't really doing anything, but it's been a short trend pretty much the entire session since about, it broke the trend at about 10 o'clock, and since then, there hasn't been much strength outside of 20 minutes when it made that wick off bottom. So it's just rinsing, repeating on that short. Still nothing for me in NVIDIA. And Apple, by the way, if you're wondering the reason we're trying to take these highs out in big tech, it's the chips and it's Apple. But Apple is at the high of the day, and it's about 20 pennies shy, or 30 cents high of 175 even. I think if it can get there and break 175, this market can take out those tops. But you can see every time it gets to the high, it rejects. And I keep thinking it's coming down into VWAP. I don't think we're seeing VWAP on Apple anymore. I think maybe 25 to 30 could be the best entry on any dip, because Apple's super strong.
Yeah, I mean, all these names right now really getting excited here. Meta, we just took a nice fill down there at 175.20. So that really came in for us again. So there it is, man. We talked about this market going back and forth. It's only 3:24. Obviously, we did come on an hour earlier. Hit the like button, or sorry, a half hour earlier. Hit the like button if you like that. And maybe we'll come on a little bit earlier again for you. But there it is. Nice little take there. We will reload this. We do have this top here on Meta, but the market, though, even though Meta fell there, the market is at the day's high. So, you can scratch all that sort of thought out that, this market wants to come back in. It does not. This has happened pretty much. It feels like every day at the close. This feels like that's what's happening. Let's check out what happened yesterday. Yesterday at this time, so this is the NASDAQ. Yesterday was the one day that we broke that 5-day win streak. So, but you can even see though, this is 2 o'clock, or no, sorry, I guess it's an hour back. So this is the move upside there, and then the drift down into the close. So maybe we'll have something today that could happen, but we'll re-engage the Meta short up here if we can get it. Obviously, that's the NASDAQ, but here it is in here into the 60s, and then get it out if it does rip back up to the high side. Cisco, did Cisco break 50? Let's go have a quick look at that. Cisco 50 was a level that I wanted to look at. We have those bad wicks again. 49.52, I'm guessing we did not. No, we did not. Wow. It got to right now, actually, at 1 o'clock, about 1 o'clock here. This is a 20-minute chart. No, sorry. 11:30, that was a little bit before 1 o'clock there. 11 o'clock, it touched 50 flat. So that would have been a great trade. It's only come back down. So Cisco today up that 6%, not doing much today, but you could see here, and unfortunately when I do that, we have those wicks, so I can't really, it looks bad. But anyways, I'll try to edit those wicks out, but it's been doing nothing. I just wanted to see it because it was near that $50 mark. Okay, now comes back in here. I'm going to take another out about 125.20 if we can get it here on Meta. And we'll just continue to watch our Bed Bath & Beyond, thinking that it has a chance to break out below this 1725 mark there. Thinking too much about Meta with that 175.
It happens, man. I do that literally. I do that all the time. I'm looking at one chart because I'm going over something, but we're talking to you guys about something else, and then I'll just spit like the wrong symbol out or the wrong number. I want to show you guys the NASDAQ while getting to this mega for a second, but we're right at that high. If we're going to make a turn here back to the downside, you know, this is kind of where the pedal hits yeah, whatever. It gets pissed or get off the pause is what I want to say. So either we break out this high in the NASDAQ, the ES is already taking it out, so it's the NASDAQ that has to follow here. If that does happen, I'm going to be favoring. I've been trying to get some longs here, but I have to think about some breakout trades. Now, Megal, I'm not moving my stop, but I'm actually going to get on the offer. The volume is low enough right now, and it's pretty underwhelming, and it's 330, that even if it breaks 420, given how bad the volume is, it's almost like I'd rather those stops kind of take it up a little bit, give the fills in front of 15, and then it can sort of, you know, bugger off. At this point, I've taken some out, so we managed to profit. And if we break out through the end, unless I miss my stop, we won't be able to make a disaster of this trade because we paid ourselves a little bit. But this market trying to take out those highs, I'm not going to get NVIDIA. And this is one of those situations where I was never, I liked the long off 186. I was never aggressive enough when it got to the 187 channel. Sometimes it is just challenging to join a move when you feel things might have gotten too far, right? Like you like your prices, you like your support levels, and when it gets away from those prices, it's a little bit difficult to chase. And part of me is sort of thinking about the fact that if we get to 191 tomorrow or anywhere close to that, before NVIDIA reports next week, it's going to be hard not to be short biased in front of that top. In the back of my mind, I was short this in the morning before flipping into the long. Sometimes you got to find a way to aggressively join the trend. The trend in the semis has been to the upside, regardless of the market pulling back every time it hit those highs. The semis have been strong. You got to find a way to join. AMD is kind of the same thing as well. I should have been in that. And Tellurian, for those of you that are watching, it never really stopped. It's now 12% to the upside. This is really going. So, you know, obviously it's been asleep, but sometimes that is the best time to get into something on a break. When it had a leg up from 3, it did nothing for several days off 4 to 420, and then the day that it breaks that kind of a channel, that's when you want to be involved. There you go, Lucas. That's twice you got it in there. But it really was. It was 420 was this resistance level. No, not that time. It was 420 that was that resistance level, and once it goes, if you take that break, this is the wick down, 419 here at 10 o'clock. 420 break, 419 was the low on the pullback. Sometimes it's not that complicated, I guess.
Weber back to $10 here. Just looking at the chat. Thank you so much, Sparky Trader. I mean, this is what we're talking about, man. This is what we're talking about. This is the best trading show on the net. I jump in, make money, and go back to work. Okay, good job there, man. I wish I could do that. That's nice. And you, another level up. What's up, Beat Fanatic? You know, when you post the same stock over and over again, you know, it makes us think that, you know, maybe you have a little bit of a position.
It's a trap.
In that, it's a trap. Okay, Meta downside there. We did get that fill at 25 there on a move down. It's at 25 right now, so that's going to be a good 35-cent win right now and moving lower. I still feel like we go lower than this, so I canceled all my bids on this name, and let's get us a little lower here on Meta.
I'm going to assume Bed Bath & Beyond is going down right now. No, it has
assumption incorrect.
Really?
Bed Bath & Beyond is going
up never mind.
To VWAP right now, but might be a truth teller and a fortune teller because maybe it is about to go down. I mean, it's just hit VWAP again.
The only reason I said that is because just a second ago on level 2 of AMC, like when it was just at like 52, 53. Like the bid at 52 and 51 just got really thin, and then it floated down to the even dollar. Just it kind of slid down there, and there was just no resistance on it till it got to that 50 mark. I'm like, oh, that's coming down. Usually when I see that happen, it's because one of the other names is rolling over, and the algos pull their bids on AMC because Bed Bath & Beyond is coming down. In that case, it looked like it looks like the bids just pulled there. 50's been a wall. If that wall breaks, I want to have shares on board for that breaking, but it's been a wall the entire afternoon. Brendo?
A few people talking about this one. Another little online Chinese company. Lizzie, L-I-Z-I. I was just double checking. 39 million float there for this one. L-I-Z-I just took out the highs again.
I need more screens.
I almost I almost typed that in the chat because he's saying L-I-Z-I and I was going to type something else. That was crazy. I know Lizzie.
Lizzie, I was just talking with Michael Noss from Trade Ideas here because Prad shows on the show, and I hope he's watching now. I don't know, he says he always has us up, but there is these race conditions here where it kind of shows you which one. It's just relative strength. So like right now, there's new on there leading. So I just wanted to like call it up. You know, so it's great. Like hit up Trade Ideas again. We're not, we're not affiliated. Well, we're affiliated in spirit. We don't have a financial deal or anything with those guys, but they are definitely really super smart. And Michael Noss, as far as I know, will be on the show tomorrow on our AM show. So we'll check out with Michael Noss here. But look what I see. I was like, okay, so yeah, so this is what it's talking about. So you see it's pretty strong here. There's obviously going to be other names that are moving up as well, but this one right now winning the race as it's starting to go back up to the upside. So this is a good one to look at there. NU Holdings. It did have that big move to the downside off of earnings again. I mean, the earnings was great, upside, but off of that, we have retraced right back to where we were pre-earnings, back down there at 470, which just happens to be the bottom there. So, okay, nice move up for new. And you know what? Shout out to Beat Fanatic because that's right, man. If you went long based off this, that's something that I'm jealous of. Like I wish I would have saw that come through there because when you come back down, and actually Danielle mentioned this, looking for stocks that have made moves off earnings that have come back in, right? And so this would be one right here where that's new holdings on their earnings report. This is one of my better trades, of the week, of the month, when we went long off $5 there, and then it just pulled back into that exact same level. So a nice move back to 510 here. I don't really have any comment on the move here because there's only 20 minutes left. But if you are going to look at this on a 1 minute chart, you're kind of back into where we were yesterday at the close. So this could be it for that move, but a nice move back if you got it from that bottom of 470 right there. What a great trade for you and for everybody else. But new, I would say it's had its run today. Let's see what happens now as the market one more time testing highs.
The only thing I'll add to that is on the daily chart, that $5 level now is if we close above it, that's a wick off bottom. Like you get $5 resistance for like an entire quarter, quite frankly. You broke out on the earnings, you held support for 2 days, you broke it today, and if you close above, you got a wick bottom and then a base of operations. That's actually a pretty solid sign there. Yeah, thank you guys always for the super chats for sure. Rolando there, watch GCT, same guy HDK, looked at history, got 65 shares at 17.
HKD he means.
Yeah, I was going to say you mean HKD, but I think we all understand what you're talking about. However, that was one of the more unique situations that I think we're going to ever see. I doubt there'll ever be lightning is not going to strike twice in the same degree. It can go, but the notion that you'll see something as extreme as that is incredibly unlikely. It doesn't happen that way because when people see a pattern the second time, more people involved in it, therefore there's less room for it to run, more people trying to exit and get paid by the same thing. So it's a little bit of trouble thinking that it can do that. However, if you're just sort of saying, oh yeah, I like a long of 17, and if it never makes a fresh low, I'm looking for a double up or something going crazy, that's a trade that can be structured. You're risking to this low at 1250, you're risking, what does that work out to? Like that's just 30 points, or it's not even 30 points. Something along those lines, like 30 points. If you think it's a double up and it can do that kind of move, fine. But thinking it'll do an HKD was utter nonsense, right? Like that thing, it's still at 180, by the way, which is ridiculous. The fact that it even holds up at 180 is insane. It went to 2,500. And it's kind of like when I talk to my barber about crypto, and he's like, oh, but if it's at like 1/100th of a cent, you can make so much. I'm like, the easy money's gone. Like you can't do that anymore. Like, no, you're not. No, like no one. It's not like getting Ether at 25 cents and it goes to 2,000. Like it does. That's not happening for anybody in the same degree. In HKD, you won't see something like this again. You're just not for a long time at least. So it can make a run. I think you probably have a decent idea of some structure there. And it did get a second win this afternoon, but yeah, that was a pretty special situation to see it go to 2,500. I don't think we're going to see that again for quite some time.
No, I mean, there was also there's a failed share offering and
Yeah,
a
there
couple
was-
different things that happened with HKD
Yeah,
that
a
really
little
let that
different.
thing go out to the upside where they had to cover. And it was not just a simple squeeze. There was details about that. So definitely check that out. I'm on the bid to get out of Palantir. When that hits, it hits, and we're out. It's just not doing anything, and I just don't want to stare at it anymore. But we are still continuing to cash out on Meta, as that's still coming to the downside here, even as the market is making highs. Meta, I thought we'd get the short at 60, honestly, when this market started to tank down in. So now I'm going to hold this into the close. We had financial juice on yesterday, so I think we can, continue to sort of pump those guys up a little bit. 23 million shares. Why do I always say that? To buy. 23 million notional to buy on the market on close. So that's nothing. You'll hear Neil and I get excited if there's ever a billion number to come out. So that's not good enough right there. Bed Bath & Beyond. We've been talking about this obviously all day, and one more time. I mean, I just got to focus on
Did it go
this.
down now?
Yeah, I mean, it hit that 1820. It hit that VWAP again.
No, I mean, how is it not breaking? Oh, yeah, now it's going. I was going to say, because AMC just broke support.
Yeah, I mean, it's trying to go. I mean, we were already down here before. We were into 1725, so that's sort of the level there. I may just get out if it comes back down. We have to see. There's still 23 minutes to go in this market. I still think we could test these bottoms again. So let's wait there for. I'm not even going to wait there, but let's wait for that to happen. If it does come in, great. We'll take that trade.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was going to say, and this is it's just truth. And I was having this conversation with, I think, Spencer. It's like, if you just do something better, and for me, it's been better for me to trade AMC than it has been for Bed Bath & Beyond. So coming in tomorrow, my approach is I think I just want to trade AMC and not Bed Bath & Beyond. Sometimes it's like that, because for whatever reason, it's just been clean. It's been more clean. Probably because that's not a difficult thing to be able to figure out as a downward trend. And yes, I did like the longs early on off 21, but look at what's happening here. If you don't favor the short at some point, then you just shouldn't be trading the stock. It was down 10% yesterday. It's down 9.5% today. I don't know where the bottom is going to be. Now, like you said, Sean, Bed Bath & Beyond continues to work to the downside. But quite frankly, I had trouble trading that, because at the open, I got shaken around. It was a lot easier to make sense of AMC. Stick to what works for you. I look at myself today and said, why didn't I just stick with AMC the entire day? I got away from it being aggressive. I know what happens, 11 o'clock hits and you take a break, but no, you don't take a break. Go right back to it the entire afternoon. It's been giving you the same thing over and over and over again. Brendo?
Just going back over some volume lists today, and also the watch list from this morning, guys, and saw this. Wolf Speed, remember we mentioned briefly on earnings, was up big time this morning, had a huge run up to 113. Trying right now to get back to day highs, up 31% for Wolf still.
Ooh, Wolf. There's another, I actually still had an order from Kohl's,
Hungry like a wolf.
So, oddly enough, you won't actually know this. I don't really talk about it. I actually really like Duran Duran. They're really good.
Yeah. I think you're not alone on that one there.
Ordinary People, it's a good song.
Very, very popular band there. Amazon to stop COVID leave for operation employees. So we're doing something very, very similar here at Day Trade the World as well, as many employees will be coming back into the office. Are they, though? I do not know. We will see. Bed Bath & Beyond still just cruising around. Meta's now 50 cents in the money and taking out some of those lows that we had... Stupid wick. Taking out some of those lows that we had just talked about before. Our best outs is now would be here. So let's do that again. Let's just congratulate ourselves and just pay ourselves. First of all, there, Apple's making the move.
No,
down?
I just got trailed out of Apple.
Oh,
it's funny because when you're in the short, it's like, okay, it's paying Sean out, it's trailing out of the long. You kind of know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've been shorting Apple here, Apple I lost on the short earlier in the day, but we did go back into Meta here, and it just looks like picking flowers, people say when I'm trading this. Purple tops, green bottoms, there it is, nicely done on the short. It's just Meta's been nice on the short. I mean, I would like to have held a lot more for these bottoms, but like I said, we are back into scout mode right now. So let's just go on there. Yeah, falling knives. Yeah, not really. I don't think these aren't really falling down. But let's go over to another name here that is continuing to move. Brendan just talked about Weber again. Is it New York? It must be there. NY. There it is. Yeah, so $10, obviously a pretty key level. I feel like the volume, it's dying down. It did have that big spike up there at 220. The one was Wolf there up to, this is just, just because the price of it, probably not super interesting to a lot of you, but a monster move up. It was on our watch list today earlier, started at 103, ripped up to 113 there right off the open. What a great move. Came all the way back as if it didn't even open, right back to the open price, and then has slowly been inching up, and I push it forward a little bit, and you're gonna see the trajectory still positive, still above the 50 period right now. That 110.50, I don't think it's super key level, but it is what just held. So this is a dangerous name. It's up 30%. You know, if you're in this, you may want to, you know, you're basically at the day's high right now. Probably worth cashing out a little bit more, as yes, there goes Meta as that continues to make a move to the downside right now. Yes, so good one there. Made a little bit of money here for you guys on that after show, and with only 20 minutes now. I don't know if we've talked about PayPal at all, but that had a monster run and is giving back a little bit. Like, this just kept on going. $98.40 all the way up to $100.60, and now below the 50 period. So PayPal giving some of this back as well.
Yes, sir, it is. And like it happens over and over again that we see the same thing where we can't break fresh highs. So like I said, I'm trailing a lot of Apple. Megal's still here, but it's the volume is so low. This pop is probably going to be it. Like, if this doesn't carry through to at least that 14.20 or so, then I think this one is certainly dead for the day. Volume is king, and we're not seeing much of anything. And by the way, AMC found a bit of a bottom there. So always pay yourself on the way down. But look, again, like, this felt, I'm watching this candle, I got some out when it hit that low. I'm like, we're heading down to 19 even. And then it bounces at 19.25 and snaps back up to 19.50. Sometimes it just, there's a wipeout bottom, and it did this in the morning as well, and I was in exactly the same situation. Got some out at the low, watched it snap back up, and then trailed it out here back at 20 and leaves less some on the table. We're late enough in the day that I feel like it doesn't have the juice to get higher, but it's a very similar pattern to what happened this morning. Brendo?
Just had a note there from JP Morgan, guys. Wanted to show you this first. This is the SPY, so the S&P 500. This was COVID, if you remember, the COVID bear market. Basically a big V right back to all-time highs at that time. We're starting to set up in the same way. JP Morgan out this afternoon telling Business Insider they see 4,800 coming by the end of the year. That's reiterating their previous target, which is about 12% upside from here. So something that would resemble this kind of bounce off the lows there from JP Morgan talking to Business Insider today.
4,800.
Yeah, nice.
Crack the champagne, baby.
Yeah, for show. Okay, if Meta comes back down here, we will get some out. Big shout out to my daughter. I see you in the chat there. Behave at grandma's. Make sure that you're nice to grandma and treat her well, and we will see you later.
Not to be nice to
so thank you, Gia, for that one on that. So it's nice that you're watching, but so I'll just calm down a bit, and yeah, everything's good here. So shout out to you. Be good for grandma, as I say, and keep your brother in line as well. Okay, that's Meta. She's probably on Facebook right now, or no, she doesn't have a Facebook account. Down here to 174.90, so down goes Meta. She was just talking to me earlier today about playing Roblox, and she's pretty close to a world-class gymnast. So she's been doing some Roblox gymnastics there. So Roblox today, someone also asked in the chat, hey, what happened? I used to always trade Roblox. Why am I not looking at it anymore? I actually looked at Roblox earlier today and was thinking this is obviously a 20-minute chart there for Roblox, so you can come in a little bit on this. But this 145.50 is a decent level to short right there, so that could be something. Again, it is a nice little drop off for Roblox today, but it did come in there to 145 or 45.50. So if you're going to trade some Roblox today, it hasn't really been moving much, but I do like this 45.50 level. Wish I would have saw it a little bit before. With only 15 minutes left, I feel like Roblox is not going to be a good trade for me today, so we'll stay off of that. The only thing we have on right now is Bed Bath & Beyond as that comes back down, and then Meta as well. So, we did get that Meta fill right there at 174.90. So it did come back in, and we did get that fill. So good. That's why, man. Sometimes you sit there and you get those. So another take on Meta, 50 cents in the money. So we'll do some of this as we're throwing that around down to the downside. So hopefully Meta will continue its move as we come in here on the market. It's not going to be a red day. The S&P is up 3.3 and the NASDAQ up 0.4.
Why is this almost falling off?
Did I maybe, I don't know, I don't feel like we ever elbowed that thing. I turned
I
it
must have-
bearish because
I
I
must
was
have done
short, but the market seems to be doing something different here.
I guess just got asked in the chat about Retta. Look at Retta, and it was for a gap fill, oddly enough, which, okay, so if you look at it's put in the range. I don't know that it's filling the gap. This is the gap on the stock, which does make it interesting here off of 2260. Maybe worth watching tomorrow. It's up 13%, but I wanted to show you. If I show you the chart on the 3-minute, and you're like, holy crap, look how strong this is. I get it, fair enough. But obvious resistance if it gets here. There's lots of room for it to run, beaten up name. But it needs to chew through this, fill in like a couple of minor gaps before it would deal with the bigger one. So, I mean, obviously that's going to be a bit of a thing. Bed Bath & Beyond is starting to pick up a little bit. It's catching volume. I always have it up because when you're in AMC, you have to. Just broke VWAP again, another late push. This is probably enough for me to just go out. If we're already making this move on AMC, where it put in that wick bottom and is now creeping back up, yeah, might as well just get out of that trade, not wait for it to come back higher when Bed Bath & Beyond is actually catching a bit of a bid. And that's on solid volume. Like, it's the most volume it's done since about noon, and it's really accelerating. So I'm not reversing it along in AMC. I still favor the short, but it was enough for me to get out.
Yeah, and Bed Bath & Beyond, good call for everybody on the chat there saying like this thing's about to explode. You guys are right. So let's see what happens. We'll take a short into here. Breaking through 19, we'll get out, and it looks like it's going to do it right now. So Bed Bath & Beyond, the buyers are back, baby, and they are sending this thing to the moon right now as it's starting to go back up. So we'll say congratulations to all the apes that were holding on to some shares there as it is starting to moon up one more time. So right into that price right there, 19.10, I guess. I should maybe switch my order for, but there it is, up to 19 right now. We'll take a short. We're short at 19.10, and so that last little reload there, I don't know if you guys could, there it is. I'll give you the exact price we got. We got 73s, so it's in the money, but not really. We'll see if this goes to the downside. We'll wait on it. Maybe not, maybe so. I don't know for Bed Bath & Beyond. Takes out 19, man. It's pretty easy for me. Get out of that one,
Just
and then we'll look at it.
offers.
There it is. Starting to come back down. So far, so good here. I'll take out a piece now if we can get a 50 print. But, yeah, like you just mentioned, they're starting to stack the offer a little bit. I don't think that's going to matter. Volume's never been an issue with Bed Bath & Beyond. It just takes out levels like AMC, GME. When those things start to run, man, it don't matter. But there it is there. We'll go a bang right there as it's starting to come back down, and we take some more money, more problems on Bed Bath & Beyond on that short 70. Still could get taken out on the upside, but it would just be a flat trade if that's the case. So let's come back down in that level to look at maybe the 50 period now, 18. Let's just put an order at 18 flat. Although it just resisted or rejected that 1850 break, that's not a good sign. So we're able to get something out at 54, good, but here it comes right back up to the upside. I think it probably takes out this 1910 right now, but I'm willing to hold it to have a look.
Yeah, just to be, like I told you guys, I am now out. I think we need to refresh that position board because I am out of AMC, punched out exactly when Bed Bath & Beyond went. So I am out of that one. I'm just in Megal, MEGL, and that's not doing anything. As a matter of fact, it just broke that 1350, so I will get out of this. The problem, everything technically about it was pretty solid, like the ramp up in volume, the break of VWAP, the consolidation. But when it retested the high, it's kind of hard for you guys to see the volume. Like, the volume was just tapering off, and then the second it tested that high, it then died down. And then once that happens, usually that's pretty much kaputs for a late breakout on one of these stocks. It had tons of volume earlier on when it got off the bottoms there, but that definitely ran out of steam. And once it broke that support, you can see what happens. You just adhere to your stop level, right? Like, it was showing you the signs, volume getting down, and then breaking support. There's no need to hold on to it. It's also 350, by the way, so the imbalances just came out. Another reason why I'd always want to be flat about that time.
Finally. We don't have enough on here, but we are short Meta now, $1 in the money as that's come in on that. And again, remember we had like 43 million to buy or whatever it was. I don't know what it just came out as, but there it is. Wow,
Small
Brendan just
sells.
Yeah, not a small sell. 1.5 billion.
There's nothing here
to sell. Oh yeah, well, you have it up. I don't even have it up.
There's Cisco's 800,000. There's J&J's a small buy, 500,000.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's that
There's
much.
Yeah, there's really nothing on here. FCX, Verizon's a small buy. I'm not seeing any big names on there. No surprise that it totaled to 1.5 billion. There's a few no names out there, but really, like, the big names are nowhere to be seen on the imbalance locator. kind of weird.
No, but we're gonna. I mean, I'm trying to just cash this. I mean, this really got excited here, down to the downside with Meta. So here it comes. Let's go. This Facebook, of course. Let's see if it hits it down to the downside. I'm going to sit there right at this level, 55. Hopefully we get a print. Did I just get that? No, I did not. You saw it stop at 55 again. Hopefully it just rips right through us there. It's going to go. Yeah, there it is. Okay. I was going to say, if that didn't happen in this time of day with this much volume, then there was a problem. But there it is. Nice little take there. Yes, sir. Thanks, Gia, for coming on the chat here. There's been a good little move down here for me since you've been on. So there it is. A nice move to the downside. And there's a cash right there. We'll probably tweet this one out, man. We've been shorting this name for a while. So the short started there and out. Then it built it all the way back to the upside. And now there's the take on Meta. We've been talking about this name short. So, hey, if you're joining the show, welcome. You know, sometimes we put on these positions, and there it is, working out for us. The Bed Bath & Beyond, ooh, it's still going lower. Okay, Meta. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in too much on this or zoom out, because we have this wick. I'm going to try to edit this out from 10:30. Maybe I can get an edit on this one, and we'll take this out. But 10:32, we have a bad wick, so I'm just going to do that right now.
And, like, I get out because Bed Bath & Beyond pops up. AMC just went down to 1920. Which is insane. Just never give up. Like right now, it is just 10% 2 days in a row. And even when there's signs of strength, it just keeps on dumping. And this has been pretty uncanny, man, what's been going on in the stock the last couple of sessions. Like what a rejection. Like you've just gotten through support. And when you chew through this, if you get through 19, there's another gap into 16, 17. There's going to be like a God mode long at some point on this thing, and maybe it is going to be down to like 16 and a half, 17 even off some halts. But until then, just play the trend because the trend is pretty clear on this. I think it'll be late to play that 19 on Bed Bath & Beyond to the break. But we were asked in the chat, someone was like, do you expect, because it's Friday and options expiration, that there'll be some fireworks on BBBY? I expect it's going to be more exciting than it was today. Like, there's a good trend to that downside on BBY for the entire day. But in terms of finding some strength, it has a better chance of doing that potentially tomorrow because it's been a pretty bearish session. After giving you some good opportunities to the long side the last couple of days, even when it's weak, there was essentially none of that. There's been small longs, you know, little pot shots here and there, but really it was just leaning on the shorts all day long.
We always get this question. I don't know if I've seen it here today or not, but yeah, finally Meta paying off on that short. You know, why do we get out of our positions heading into the close? Well, we are on prop trading floor here with Day Trade the World, and the policy, of course, is to not hold anything overnight. So as this market continues to wind down, closer to 4 o'clock, you'll see Neil and I get completely out. I've been known to hold something a little bit past 4, but not very much past that. And of course, it's very dangerous. I would never hold a stock here on a prop floor into earnings or anything like that. If you do have a smaller position, you know, you can wait a couple minutes after 4 o'clock. But the idea here is that all of our analysis basically is intraday, and anything that happens after hours, you're on your own as we just continue to watch this. I only have 5% left of this Meta trade, so some good outs. The majority of the outs were right here. Like when this came back in right now, that was good. That was good. And then we take obviously a piece out here as we go right back into some of those levels. And I cleaned up that wick. Meta, what a great day for Meta today, considering where it opened. It opened. And again, I don't know why I don't have any data past 10 o'clock or before 10 o'clock, but 172 it was at one point. Made a monster move up to that 176, 175.80, which is what we've been shorting off of. And then boom goes a dynamite as that comes right back in. The Bed Bath & Beyond, I mean, I think that's right, whoever was talking about that, as far as the weekly options and things like that. It's going to be exciting tomorrow. Off of such a big week, I do expect there to be a lot of fireworks for this tomorrow, but there's already been fireworks every day. So,
yes, that's true.
You know, to say it's going to be any different, probably not. But to say that it's going to be active again, yes. There obviously are reasons for that. You guys know that there's the RC Ventures there, or whatever it was, Enterprises, dumping everything there that he had.
Just Ryan Cohen.
So yeah, I know that's what it stands. That's why I didn't know. I knew it was RC,
yeah.
But I don't know if is it like Venture. Okay, there it is. Bed Bath & Beyond did just crack a little bit lower there, so we are now in the money, a whopping 20 cents. You know, like to take this profit? Not really. I'm bidding down here at 18. Flat actually to get this fill. So let's see. Last time there it goes. I was gonna say last time it resisted that 1850 break. It just happened again. See how they can't break it? Like Why did it not break there, right? So I'm going to put out another piece maybe. But if it does break, then I probably do get that 18 flat. So let's wait. Let's get a little greedy here on this. There it is, 1830. Let's go. We're sitting a little bit lower than this on Bed Bath and Beyond. So hopefully this will crack back down for us, not for you guys that are long, but for me who has to get out. Let's take this opportunity to get out and throw it over to Brendan as we get ready for the close.
All right, not much left, guys, as far as earnings for this week. However, as we were talking with Danielle earlier, a ton coming up next week. So strap in for that, but that's what's on deck for tomorrow.
Strap in for next week when you get NVIDIA and then you get some of the Chinese automakers there, EV makers, EV makers. But I'll watch out for Foot Locker. I mean, it's got a 12 to 15% short interest, depending on what number you like, but it's lining up on some lows here. Potentially, I'm not saying it's going to break 34, but 34 is that line in the sand on the daily. Since it gapped down with the rest of the crush, there's been some crushing moves in retail when you look at the daily charts. Like almost every single big retail name has one of these death candles. And since then, it's been a 34 high. You're closing at 32, decent short interest, under 100 million float. It's set up that it could give you one of those breakouts. And remember, even if the earnings are bad, if it gaps down far enough with a decent short interest, sometimes you get those good bounce back rubber band longs off the open. So I know I'll be looking at Foot Locker for some trades tomorrow, whether it is that sort of it's down too far dip buy or good earnings, squeeze it through 34, maybe and then get to that 200 period moving average. Don't usually trade it, but tomorrow I'm hoping to for sure. As long as it sets up. You don't want to force the trade, but hey, if it breaks 34 with good earnings, I want the long.
I mean, we've already seen retail come through. I think Foot Locker's great, obviously. Shop there, but we'll see. Supply chain issues. I feel like China's zero COVID policy there. We'll see what they talk about with inventory and stuff like that. We've seen Nike make a move all the way to the downside, breaking $100 and now back up. So we'll wait to see what's happening on that one. All right, so Meta flushes. I was waiting for a bigger flush with only 2 minutes to go now. I actually put a bid at 174, thinking that we might be able to get back down here. It doesn't look like that's happening right now. Bed Bath & Beyond, I put a bid at 40, sorry. So we're getting pretty close to getting that. I might just take a bid right now if I can get this 55. Well, I should be able to get it. I can just punch out 57. Why am I even waiting for 55s right now? But we'll see if we can get that one. If it does, there we go. We should get it. Nope. Should get it. Nope. Did I get it? Did I get it? Hold on a second. Yes, okay, we did get it there as it just cracks down below. So we'll wait to see here as I'm watching Meta out of the corner of my eye as well. We only have a minute and a half left before the end of the day here. Just a quick check on the imbalances. Oh, I still have ARCA here, so let me just get rid of those so you don't have to see those. There's just a lot of like little penny stocks and stuff like that show up on the NYSE American. That's the former Amex exchange. I have to look it up. It might not even be NYSE American exchange anymore. All right, so SLB, Schlumberger, J&J on there as well. BMY, a bunch of names that were not in. Yeah, so Snapchat there as a buy with only a minute left. Here, what is Bed Bath & Beyond doing? I'm just going to have to take this out, so I'm going to cancel all my orders now and just take this out, including my stop orders, and just punch out here in the open market. We get 58s to end the day. Spin it for the last little trade there on Bed Bath & Beyond because we did take that little spike up, hit that back down into the downside. It's only going to be 25 cents. We tried lower. We should have maybe got that tick, but it never broke lower. What can we do?
But look at the end there. Like, what a crazy, with 20 seconds to go. I mean, we were cruising to the high of the day and then rejecting it as usual. Microsoft turned red, now down 0.5%. We do have a special person on the belt because Tony not feeling well.
Tony's here, actually.
Oh, Tony is here? Oh, my goodness. He made a recovery. Get the
Tony's
camera
back
on him.
in the building, baby.
In 3,
Yo, what's up, Tony? You look a little bigger. 1.
Ring it.
Yep, that's for sure Tony. That is
That's Tony.
That is exactly the way Tony rings the bell. Body shape, everything, hair. That was pretty much Tony there as whoever that was just almost, I'm pretty sure he hit his head there on the bell coming back through there. So
pretty sure he hit his head.
I hope Tony's okay there.
He hit his head.
But yeah, thanks a lot, Tony, for that. That was really good. All right. What a great day it was again, man. I mean, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, everything. We're not done yet. Let's go over to Brendan and see how the day wound up.
Final numbers for you, and happy to tell you they're all positive. Almost, anyways, all of them positive. Outside of Bitcoin, obviously trades 24 hours, so a little bit red. But everything else, yeah, 0.25% for the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ will call it all the same because, hey, they got back to positive territory after chopping around for most of the day. We came off a little bit in energy markets there after the pit session closed. We were above 3%, but we'll see what happens tomorrow, guys. It's Friday.
It is Friday. As we mentioned, that means options expiration, and that means we're going to see action one more time in Bed Bath & Beyond in that group, to be sure.
Biggest, I mean, just came through, biggest drop since June 29th on Bed Bath & Beyond. Today, BBBY down 20% on the close there. Good trade. Someone asking, and I understand that you're new to the show, so why would I get out of Meta when it's dropping?
4 o'clock.
Yeah, no, well, I think the real answer is because I'm short. So that, you know, that's why I'm getting out of it as it drops down. All purple ticks are shorts.
Oh,
so, and you know, we just don't go long here on the show. We're able to go both ways, but we do trade equity, not options, if some of you guys were asking for that one as well. Yeah, what a big show. A big shout out to a couple new hosts that we had on today. You've seen them before. Thanks to Brandon, thanks to Spencer, of course, and then Prad held down for all 3 hours like he usually does, or like he always does. So a big thanks to Prad on that one. Thanks to Fahad and Tony, both ringing the bell there today. You can decide which one that potentially was there. So thank you to everybody. Thanks Brendan again today as he brought us some crazy stories. I mean, that Wolf, that Weber, Traeger, Cook. I don't know. What? I'm going to ask. We don't normally do this. I'm going to put Brendan on the spot here, but because he's such a provocateur. Hey, Maggie, you didn't shout out to Maggie's in the building as well. Brendan, if there was one maybe story or anything that caught your eye today, is there a stock that, you know, again, you might want to focus on tomorrow or something that was really special today that you came across?
I mean, the barbecue names were random. Even I saw that grill popped up, even though it's not a barbecue name, it's a restaurant chain. But just because of the ticker, it popped up. So yeah, let's see what the barbecue names have to say tomorrow. I did not buy a Weber though, Sean. What did you buy?
What did you get?
I have to go see. It's in transit right now. Okay. So we'll see what
it's
that.
It's so undercover that you don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
It felt, well, you don't know what fell off the back of the truck. Just
I
something.
don't know. I mean, I don't want. Look, if something
it is a grill, but
right, like maybe a Traeger. Something happened to a Traeger truck on the way here. I don't know. We'll find out later what it is. But no, thanks for that again, Brendan. And yeah, we'll look at those grill stocks tomorrow. It should be really interesting. Some of the marijuana stocks came back in, so we'll have to watch out for that. I'm interested in Roblox tomorrow, obviously. AMAT, did they just have earnings
It
there?
looks like AMAT did beat. So they beat on, like the EPS beat. I mean, the guidance was pretty strong as well. They beat on revenue as well. It's only up like 4 or 5%, but it was higher initially, but not a ton of volume. Like some of the chip names would do way more volume this aftermarket, but AMAT is to the upside.
All right, good. So yeah, AMAT, good report there coming through. We'll see Ross Stores as well. But hey, it's trade of the day coming, and it was AMC. Yeah, so we'll watch out for AMC. We'll watch out for Bed Bath & Beyond tomorrow as well. But it's Friday tomorrow, Thursday tonight. Enjoy your night. You know, get ready. Should be a big day tomorrow. Join us at 8:30 when we'll be doing this all over again. Ciao from Trader TV Live.
Any games on tonight? Like they're Thursday night?
There should be. Well, this is the last week, so I don't know if they're all on Sundays or.
No, this is week 2.
This is no, that's 3.